I'm just gonna say it now, in case people turn off the episode. Stop throwing water bottles on stage. So during the last Torture song, I just see water bottles being flung from the stage. And I see it's Lumpy. Too. And I just look at Lumpy with the meanest, I'm just and he's just what? I'm sorry. And I'm just yeah, just stop. And then I look over and Brendan from Big Boy is literally running to the water case to get water. He turns back around and I'm just staring at him blank in his face. And he just goes I'm sorry. And I'm just stop. And, yeah, it was pretty funny.
Hello, welcome. It's HardLore time. How are you, Bo?
I'm doing great. Who do we got?
Oh my God, this is for the ages here. We've got a HardLore debut that is long awaited by me, and a big comeback because FYA Fest was last weekend at time of recording. So we've got to bring back FYA creator Bob Wilson, and for the very first time, our very good friend, the Crown Prince of Long Island, the man that now unites the boroughs, John Scanlon. Welcome, fellas.
Thanks for having me again.
Yeah.
Fantastic now that you guys are here.
Bob, you did it.
It happened.
It happened. I wanna immediately jump into what the lengths that you went to bring this amazing festival to a place that everyone was comfortable in.
Yeah, I mean, so this spot specifically is one that I wanted, about, I don't even know, before the summer. And I went down, I checked it out and it was perfect. And they're like, yeah, what dates you looking at? And I told them, and then there was a reptile expo for that weekend originally. And so yeah, that's why it didn't happen there originally. And then
dude, and Reptile Expo in Florida, that's the Super Bowl.
The Super Bowl, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's everything.
That's bigger. That's way bigger than the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that's generational there. Yeah.
Have you been
to the Reptile Expo?
Yeah.
No, there was a guy from around here who would bring his reptile rescue 2 shows in the early 2000s. Though that was about as close as I got.
Well, that's dark. Can you get reptiles straight up cash at the Reptile Expo?
I don't know the inner workings of it. I didn't really ask too much because I was pissed off that they took my dates originally.
But thank God the Reptile Expo was postponed, which I'm sure was devastating to the community.
They're never going to recover.
And to the Orlando commerce community.
Yeah.
But it was moved. FYA was, I mean, you guys busted ass. You listened to the people. Got it moved by some miracle. Congrats! It went smoothly, wonderfully. We had a great time. I loved the new venue.
I know I preferred the new venue because there was so much more room. The food vendors you had were awesome. Everything down to multiple bathrooms. Everything was better, I think, as a show experience. So I think you did a really good job, and I really admire, because I know I texted you when you were moving it, and I was like, I know this sucks, but you're definitely you're doing the right thing.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is too. Even just trying to find a new spot. There's a spot in Jacksonville that almost worked out, and then there's a couple other places in Orlando, but they were going to be outside. I was literally a week away from announcing at one point, and then the permits didn't work out, so I couldn't do it. And then it was going to be at the outside spot there, which I was not psyched on, but I was willing to just do just to make it fucking happen, whatever. So
sure,
I think it ultimately ended up where I wanted it all along, and it's still. I mean, it's just a warehouse, you know what I mean? Which is I don't really like legit venues. So it was just that's where I want shows to happen. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, you could land a plane in there, and I don't think anybody would notice. No. You'd be like, yeah, this feels right. Scanlon, how many years have you been helping Bob with FYA now?
I think the first one I stage managed was What was the year, Bob? That was it. Was it the New York year that had like indecision and all that stuff? Was that the first one? Because I think. I'm trying to think. It wasn't the first year. It was at the Orpheum. I think it may be the second year. Right?
Orpheum is the tall stage, right?
Yeah.
Tampa, I played there once. Yeah, that was in like what's that neighborhood in Tampa?
Ybor City.
Ybor. Yeah, that was like
them chickens, man.
The chickens, chickens,
beautiful chickens. You wouldn't believe these chickens.
We played there with Soulfly once, and it went exactly as you might imagine.
Yeah. So let's get into the weekend here. You guys, you put together a great lineup, Bob. Scanlon, you managed the stage just so wonderfully.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I always feel so much safer on stage when I look over and see you managing it. You know, any bands go over?
Oh, plenty. Yeah, they do it all the time. It's annoying.
Do you give them a wrap it up, or do you just
you give them the red light?
I tried. I'll give them a 5-minute warning, but a lot of the times it's just because of like people like shit breaking, like you might understand, you know.
We'll get there. We will get there.
I try not to penalize people for that, and it works out at the end, you know.
That's good. Beautiful.
Yeah. Was there a like a hard curfew at that spot?
No, that was the thing too. So in the outside area, the curfew was going to be like 10 or something like that, and then when I went down to do like a walkthrough, they're like, "Oh yeah, the inside, the curfew's not until like 3 a.m." So I wasn't. It's not like the venue had to get us out of there. I obviously just don't want people. Nobody wants to mosh at fucking midnight on a long day. You know what I mean?
But it's nice.
And honestly, to your credit, there, even though you had infinite curfew inside, we were eating dinner at 10:45 p.m. both nights.
Yeah,
it's impossible generally. So great work. Let's get into the weekend here.
Yeah,
and I want you. Can we keep a counter of straight edge bands? Because
I got it.
I feel like it got up there at one point. There were a couple in a row at one point, which really felt good.
It's probably been years since that happened, so yeah, it's a good sign.
Well,
it's coming back now. All right, we're gonna keep a counter,
and we'll get into it. But there was a trend this year that I really loved, especially with the opening bands. We'll get there, but it's in line with the straight edge thing, and I think it's fucking awesome.
Why don't we get into it right now with Home Invasion, who opened day one?
Yeah,
straight edge band?
Nah, I don't think they're straight edge, but I'm sorry, not kind of ruined the straight edge thing off the start.
Nah,
but,
that's fine.
They're just a hard Chicago band. Those guys have been around, you know, all doing different kinds of bands forever. Kyle, who plays guitar, has been in things. Like I've literally been seeing him around for like probably 20 years at minimum.
Yeah.
And that was my first time getting to see them. I like the records, but especially live, I don't think people really knew what it was going into it. And then a lot of people came up to me afterwards saying like how sick they were and, you know, how they actually want to like check them out more now and everything like that. So that was because the first band of the first day, you know, everybody wants to mosh and get all the nervous energy out, I feel like. So
it
was a good one because like if I put them any later, people might have just skipped them or whatever. So
totally.
They were fucking great. I was glad that they played first.
We were doing bullshit and we like just missed them. And I immediately went to their table. I was like, I'm so sorry. Because again, I've known Farn and Kyle for, like you said, like 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really cool to see. I don't remember the last time a new Chicago band played one of these fests. You know,
that seems like a rare concept.
It's like Hold My Own, which is mostly Chicago, and then you know that's kind of it. So it felt really good to see them. Crucial Kyle, little tidbit, once practiced as the second guitar player for Harm's Way in like 2007.
Couldn't work out.
Yeah, well, it just like. Yeah, it just didn't. You know, when you're like getting a band together and like just sometimes, we got another guy. I don't know.
Crucial Kyle sounds like somebody who's straight edge. Is that right?
He's edge. Yeah, I think he's vegan straight edge. I believe.
Say no more.
That makes sense because when they were playing, he had 2 bottles of Dr. Pepper and a banana on his head. That's the only thing that was on his guitar.
That's the international symbol of vegan.
That's what keeps us going.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Bob, you have were those 2 bottles of Dr. Pepper from your private stash or?
No, I was strictly water all weekend because I used to just do what I normally do at the fest, and then I literally thought I was going to go into like diabetic shock by Sunday night. And I was like, I can't be the old fest dude like having to get like resuscitated or whatever at the fest. So try to
dude,
drink water.
You're never going to believe this, but they have this thing called Diet Dr. Pepper. No sugar.
Not familiar. Not really
no
sure.
Yeah, you got to check that
Bob,
out.
something I noticed from afar is how big your backpack is. You got Dr. Peppers in there loaded up, or
There's
what?
nothing. No Soda all weekend. At Del Taco at midnight afterwards. Yeah, I'll indulge. But
That's Pib.
It is Pib. That's true. Yeah,
It is Pib. You're right.
Come on, man.
It's nice to switch it up every once in a while. It's all right.
I agree. Well, that Del Taco Pib mix is out of control. So
Yeah.
you did good. Steamroll was next. New York straight edge band.
That's one.
Tell me about putting Steamroll on.
They Andrew Vacante sent me the demo like 6 months ago or something like that, asking if I would be down to put it out, and I actually forgot to hit him back at first, and then the next day I was like hoping that he didn't send it to other people to put it out in the meantime. Because I listened, I was like, fuck, I was like, this is too good. I hope somebody doesn't snipe it. And I love that band. I put them out, and then I was curious how many people like knew them at this point or whatever, because I think they only played like 2 shows or something.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, they were great. They opened with the straight ahead cover, which was fucking awesome.
A couple of those.
So
Yeah,
this
that
is
was,
what
like,
this
good
is
trend.
what I was alluding to earlier. Is we had a straight ahead cover very early on, a floor punch cover really early on. The next day, a band opened with Youth of Today.
And they're all getting over, which feels good, you know?
But it makes me really happy that I feel like that kind of hardcore is at least getting the attention that I want it to get, you know?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think kids want that kind of hardcore because they're over, not completely over, but like all they know is like the heavy mosh stuff. They just don't know where to find it. You know what I mean? So a band like Steamroll, if you're there for some heavy shit, you're like, oh, what the hell is this? You know what I mean? So,
dude, Alec raised a good point that there are bands who will do the Youth Crew thing and cover a Youth Crew song, but then they play Strife.
yes,
Like
that
their music
Yeah.
is a Strife song, which is really interesting. But we're getting there. This is all a good sign, you know?
Yep.
Amen. We're headed in the right direction.
Yeah.
Ozone is next from Texas. (817) Fort Worth, I think they're from.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've played with them like every time I've been in Dallas or Fort Worth the past few years, so it was cool to see Texas represented at these fests, which it isn't always. So good on you. Tell me about putting Ozone on.
Yeah, I always want Texas stuff to come and play, and it's just it either doesn't work out or the band's not available or whatever. So this is the first year in like a minute where a Texas band got to play, and those guys specifically, like Ty in the band, like we would stay with him when we go through on tour with his old bands and things like that. And then those guys just always put on super hard for Fort Worth and that whole area, and those shows are always like really awesome there. So yeah, they had like the Triple B stuff and everything, and I was like, it's time. We gotta they do so much for their scene, so I try as best as I can. Like if I see from my point of view, if you're really putting on for where you're from and taking care of bands when they come through, I try to like do the best I can to return the favor and bring them out. So yeah, they were all psyched on it, and I thought the set was great.
And that's
That
how it
was
should
great.
be. That's a great blueprint of how things should work.
Put on for your home, and others will take notice. Scanlon, any stage managing anecdotes thus far?
I was just gonna ask the same exact thing.
Trying to think. I think I just remember Eric from Steamroll being really, really nervous about playing guitar because he just usually doesn't do that, I guess. So I was watching him the whole set. He was definitely a little statue, you know, but he got through it. It sounded great.
I closely relate to Eric from Steamroll. I understand your pain. It's very difficult to do.
Was Ozone an edge band? I don't recall.
No,
I don't think so.
No.
All right. We got one.
Face the Pain is next. Detroit, little bit of DC,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
little
Scared me
bit
for a second.
little bit of Philly in there now, right?
Yep.
Yep.
There's so much going on here. This is a band from all over. Straight Edge band, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
2.
Derek Daniel on the Skins, the best in the game. Tell me about putting Face the Pain on.
Yeah, that's another band that I put out on Rebirth, and it's obviously just like a super group. I mean, you got Lennon on vocals, doing like the most straightforward band he's done, probably singing in. Brad from TUI, and a million other bands over the years. Derek, obviously, Matt from Wreckage from Connecticut. It's just like everybody in the band, Matt Kay from Magnitude, and a bunch of other bands from North Carolina. So, I think that's like when all that kind of hardcore comes back full, like super strong. I think they're going to be one of the bands that gets pointed to as, all right, this band existed and it got way more kids into it than they were into it before. And then, yeah, they did. I was kind of worried because they did Floor Punch into Project X and not the other way around. So I was curious if like Dance Floor Justice is a hard. I mean, who the fuck, that's like such a hit or miss cover. That's like very rare to cover.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Kids fucking knew it, and then it was awesome. So it was a really good set early on.
What was the Judge song they played?
No, they did Changes by Floor Punch, and then into Dance Floor Justice.
Got you. That's great.
Any stage managing anecdotes from Face the Pain, Scanlon?
I'm glad that their set was only like 12 minutes. It was nice. Save me some time.
Yeah, good. So keep it short, keep it tight, keep them wanting more. Yeah. Alienator is next. This is the coolest band. Truly had no idea what they sounded like.
Yeah, same.
And one of the sets I was looking forward to the most, and it delivered. Tell me about putting Alienator on.
Yeah, they shouldn't be an odd band out like on a hardcore show, but obviously people, whatever perceptions, just like things are like too punk for hardcore, whatever. But yeah. I mean, you just watch them; it's just AF, and it's just fucking like they look cool as shit on stage. Look like they were dropped off by a spaceship from the 1991 like live AF video shit, like. All looking cool as hell, like shaved heads, like they just looked awesome. And then you could tell kids didn't know what the hell was going on at first. And then they are just so good that people started like filing in and checking it out and rocking with it. And then a lot of people came up to me afterwards, like, I've never heard that band in my life, but I fucking love them. So
yeah, this is probably a top 5 of the weekend for me.
Yep.
Yeah. Any stage managing anecdotes from Alienator?
I've never seen the singer put down the mic, but on the bass cab, and he turned the bass head off somehow. And never seen that done before. So that was the first. Any other stage? Oh, he was stuffing his shirt in his pants, and it took him way too long. It was kind of weird. But their set was sick. Good set.
Did it alienate you in some way?
It kind of alienated me a little bit. No, it's fine.
It's not just a clever name.
No, that's job well done. Killing Frost is up next. One of the best European hardcore bands in I was going to say the world, but in Europe.
Certainly in Europe.
Are they from what is Sweden, Finland?
Finland, yeah,
Finland.
Yeah.
Strong scene in Finland. Tell me about putting Killing Frost on.
I mean, yeah, it makes sense that you love them. I mean, obviously they're doing like a carnivore thing, sheer terror thing, like all that shit. And I actually emailed them like 4 years, whenever the first thing came out, like begging them to come over and play. I was like, dude, I love your demo. Please come to the States. And like, whatever you got to do to make it work, I just want it to happen because I think your band's sick and everybody like needs to see it. And then I randomly got an email earlier this year, be like, because he never responded. He's like, hey, sorry for not responding the last time, but if you'd be down to have us, we're trying to like book a tour. So I was like, yeah, I mean, of course. So
awesome.
Seeing a bunch of hardcore kids mosh to a synth intro was one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life. And I think, yeah, again, like the dude with like the duster jacket, fucking just looking cool as shit.
Yeah.
That's it. They definitely like, that's like one of the bands I feel like the people came away with not really knowing anything about. And then it's just like a lot of kids like favorite band now, which is like perfect. You know what I'm saying?
Totally. English needs to be your third or fourth language to pull off a duster like that.
Yeah.
Now, right. Scanlon.
Yeah.
Were there any stage managing anecdotes you could share from Killing Frost?
Potentially. I think the first ever band at FYA to have a synth, I think.
Wow.
Does that make sense, right, Bob? No one else has played keyboard up there?
It was someone actually playing it, too?
Dude, come on. You got to help me here, but whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I think you're right. I don't know.
That's true. He was
That's
definitely
awesome.
the best dressed of the fest. That's for sure.
Oh, the synth
Beautiful.
guy or the duster?
The synth guy. Is the guy.
That's the guy. I got you.
Yeah.
Extinguish is up next. This is real bass shit right here, scientifically. These are our boys representing the Bay here at last with a great new record from last year. Tell me about putting Extinguish on.
I've said it on a million things, I feel like, but I just think what the Bay is doing is so fucking sick. And every one of their bands does things, like, in my opinion, the right way in hardcore. And I always liked the band, and then they came through Philly, and I was like, I like the record. I know I like them, but I want to see it live to like really sell it for me. And their set was so sick, and they just, it was just way. It made me like them even more. So yeah, I asked them at the show if they would be down to play, and then they were obviously down. So I just like same way, like putting on for other scenes. Like if there's a poppin' Bay band and I can like hook them up, like I'll do that every year if I can, just because.
Hey, you did the same thing with Out of Pocket last year.
Yeah.
Spreading the wealth with Extinguish this year. You're a good guy, Bob. You got your ear to the ground. Now, Scanlon, do you have any stage managing anecdotes from Extinguish? I love having you here, Scanlon.
Oh, that's great. I wish I had more to give, but for this set, it was just fine. Perfect. No issues. Everything was good.
Sometimes things just go right.
Yeah. That's what you want.
And sometimes, Colin, it's opposite day.
Sometimes for me. Sometimes you're me. Up next, guys, we got a real treat. We got Silver.
Awesome,
I'm obsessed.
Man. Awesome, man.
Fill me in on Silver, please.
I can't remember how I even heard about them at first. I feel like maybe somebody posted like the record cover or what they played with some bands, like whenever they went over to Europe last year or something like that. I straight up can't remember, but I was like, this looks crazy. I have to listen to this, and I fucking was like obsessed with it. And I don't.
They're from Italy?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa! I didn't know that.
Yeah. Which is just like, obviously, I've never had an Italian band on the fest or anything. Like I've been to Italy a couple times, played some shows, but like this is like, I mean, it has to be the best Italian hardcore band of all time to me.
Time, and no Italian band has ever played at 3 p.m. before. I'll tell you that.
Much. No, fuck no. They're going to bed. Nope. That's bedtime.
Yeah, that's fucking God. That's ungodly. We legit. So they were.
Bob, what's the latest you ever played in Italy?
Italy. We actually didn't play that. We played super early in Italy when we played that show. Where I'm like climbing the fucking lights or whatever. That was like at like 6 p.m. somehow. But I never really played other places in Europe. We played super late, but Italy, I think we kept it nice and early.
Dude,
that was a daylight savings thing. That was actually 6 a.m.
The one Italian show we've ever played, doors were at 11 p.m.
Nah.
Jesus fucking Christ, dude.
Did anybody buy the $1,000 jar of Silver's pasta marinara?
I did not know that was even a thing, but unfortunately,
Silver, hit me up. I'd like to make an offer.
Like $8.99.
Now you guys are both going to see them tomorrow and the next day, right? Are you booking them?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell them I said what's up. They did so great.
That's awesome. I heard a lot of people talking about this set.
Yeah. Any stage managing anecdotes from Silver?
Yeah, there was a few actually.
Okay.
The set started off. I won't name them. But this person threw uncooked pasta onto the stage, and it was just everywhere. And I nicely asked them after the set to clean it up, and they said they would, and they didn't. And it stayed there all the way to foundation.
All night.
All night. There was pasta there the whole time. It's fine. I felt bad, mostly because of the person I'm about to talk about, but the guitar player, who I did not realize was just filling in. I thought they were also from Italy, but it was actually just, I believe his name is Colin.
Were you like, hello, senora?
Buongiorno.
His guitar broke, and I was like, oh, I gotta go tell him, I gotta go get a guitar for him. But I don't know why, but I was like, I don't know if he knows English, so I just was giving him hand signals. I was like, I'll go get it. And then I told their drummer to keep going, so they wouldn't lose any time. But when I came back, he was nowhere to be seen, so I just thought he was moshing. But then he came back on stage with a guitar. And then someone goes, oh, no, yeah, he plays in like Godskin Peeler. I was like, oh, all right. Whatever, fine.
Oh, my God.
And then they covered Dynamo, which is fucking sick. So
Dude, that's
no one knew it, but Dynamo's awesome.
No, there's a couple of covers this weekend that were four people.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Wow.
Beautiful. Silver, great job. Bad weekend for guys named Colin, huh?
Mm-hmm.
God. Final Resting Place is up next. One of the best bands of 2024. So it was only fitting that they played. I'm glad you had them on, Bob. Tell me about putting Final Resting Place on.
Yeah, I mean, they are obviously still a relatively new band, but as soon as Dom sent me the demo, I was like, this is music for people to beat the living shit out of each other too, which is perfect. And their sets around here have been like crazy right off the bat, obviously. And I was like, if I put this in front of a fest like crowd, it's just going to be mayhem. And I mean, obviously, little Alex is the fucking man, and I was glad he finally got to play. And then Dom's played before Simulacra and other stuff, but this set was just ridiculous. So
the homie Devilmaster.
Oh, John, the coolest guy on earth.
He's so
legend.
Cool. What were you saying, Bo?
I was saying they sounded absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
It was the first real set that I got to like stand and watch of the day because I was running around. But it was like, I remember just being like, holy shit. I didn't know he could do all that vocally. They sounded crazy.
Dude, Dom is a maniac.
I had no idea. He's doing squeals and all kinds of shit.
I don't know.
And he's
got demons, man. He's letting it all out.
Great stage presence as well. So entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
You know why?
Why?
God tier mosher.
Great mosher. Yeah, there you go.
Now, Scanlon.
Yeah.
What can you tell me anecdotally about what happened from a stage manager perspective?
Obviously, I saw the set was crazy, but I was too fixated on the amount of swag they have. They're all wearing these crazy shoes I've never even fucking seen before. They're all crazy colors. Mike's wearing an Arc'teryx jacket in Florida and shorts. Doesn't make any sense, you know, but he's riffing. It was a great set, you know.
You got the homie Devilmaster there, just
the homie Devilmaster
enchanting the world.
Tucked in shirt, you know, he's just doing what he's doing. Control. I do hope Final Resting Place gets the chance to play way more metal shows because I think that world will accept them. And I've been trying to get them to play more metal shows myself, and it's kind of been working. So I do hope they get to ride that wave soon.
You put them on that Suffo Marauder show coming up, right?
Yeah, that one, and then I had them on a
you're sick
a Mortician show, and it was good.
Oh wow!
Good. Well, not both because the Suffocation show hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure that will be great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I can't wait, personally.
Yeah, come out. It'll be fun.
Yep. Bad Beat is next. Straight Edge.
Three.
We got three. This is Detroit's the golden children of Detroit right now.
Yeah.
Bad Beat, who brings you Tied Down every year, is here at FYA playing for the very first time. Tell me about putting Bad Beat on.
Yeah, they, as Jimmy said, I think they played 10 minutes, like max. He said hardcore 10 minutes or less or it's free or whatever he said. And
that's right.
You just, you need bands like that. I feel like on Fest to switch things up. And the record's great, the Triple B record. And then I like everything that the band's doing. And Jimmy obviously does a great job of Tied Down every year, him and Curtis. And then, so again, like being able to return the favor for everything that he puts into his scene. And if his band sucked, I would just ignore it, obviously. But his band being sick is awesome.
They're good.
Yeah, I literally love the band. So, yeah, I'm glad they exist because, there's obviously not a lot of bands like that doing what they're doing. So, yeah, it was cool seeing kids going off so hard for them.
They have an early mid 2000 locking out thing, like riff wise, that
they have a mental thing
that I have missed dearly.
It's great.
Even like Planet Mental shit. Like later stuff. It's all in there, and I love it. Yeah, I had a blast.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Now, Scanlon.
Yeah.
From a stage manager perspective, are there any anecdotes that come to mind?
Short and sweet. Was really happy about it. Kind of going off what Bob said before. At this point of the fest, I was like, I'm glad all the bands that have played up to this point have all been kind of different. It keeps you kind of interested being up there on the stage, you can get a little bored if every band sounds the same. So
100%.
I'm happy it was all different kinds of hardcore.
Yeah, how's your back, knees, and feet? You know what I
They
mean?
don't exist.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Okay. Got it. Did you happen to notice that Bad Beat's bass tone was like really, really good?
Pretty good.
Really good, yeah.
And why would that be, Bob?
They're using the HW2, the Bo Looters Wonder Effects crossover pedal. It's not a big deal. Who was next, Colin?
Scarab was up next, which is why it's such a cool. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
Extinguish, Silver, Final Resting Place, Bad Beat, Scarab. You're like alternating vibes. I can tell how intricately you laid this out, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of switching things around and seeing what makes sense. So I feel like it ends up working out.
How long does that process take you?
Way too long. I'll send it and be like, yo, am I an idiot? There's this order makes sense. Check myself with Scanlon and other people, make sure I'm not tripping with putting a band after something that might smoke them or anything like that. So
yeah, how are you always trying to kind of protect bands in that way?
In general, I want to put bands in a position where like they're just set up for as much success as possible. You know what I mean? Like I never want to if I know a band is going to have, or I really feel like a band is going to have the craziest set of all time. Like I'm not going to get somebody like smoked right after them or put a band too late where people won't be sticking around for them or whatever. There is a lot of thought into literally every single band. I'm like, all right, is this like the best possible position for them to get the best reaction? You know what I mean? And people actually in there watching them.
Beautiful. I guess it's not too dissimilar, Colin, is it, from the sequencing of a record?
Totally.
What
suits the greater presentation overall the best. Scarab is next. Scarab was the 2024 Best New Band HardLore Award winner. Outstanding. Can't wait to hear a new record. Molly's voice, perhaps the most psychotic and most fitting, knowing the inner workings of his mind.
I think you mean the 2023.
That's what I meant.
Okay. Steven?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. The guy's a sick fuck. The homie Devil Master is back. Scarab rocks. Tell me about putting Scarab on, Bob.
They're like my favorite Philly bands since probably Blacklisted. And if I was like a teenager, that would be straight up. I still kind of do. I would follow them around like the fucking Grateful Dead. I just think everything they do is perfect to me and exactly what I want out of a hardcore band. And Tyler's he's not up there just spouting some bullshit. He actually, is very careful about all his lyrics and everything about it. And then, Lennon's a fucking mad genius with what he's writing and what he's bringing to the table.
Is Lennon writing a lot of that?
Yeah. I think it's mostly him and Tyler and then him and Tyler Breza, who plays drums now.
Tyler, I just kind of met there this weekend and had a nice conversation with. He's fucking awesome. Scarab rocks. Bob, I bet if you had a label, you would put out just everything.
I would love. Yeah.
Oh,
many have tried, but they're staying loyal, which is nice.
Absolutely.
I also saw Tyler do something I've never seen a person do when they're playing, which was karate kick the backup mic. He did a kick I've never seen somebody attempt in my life, and then he missed the first time, and then he connected the second time. So that was a highlight for me with that.
Fantastic.
Was it like a karate kick, like the way a trophy would be?
I don't even know. I watched it. I need to watch the video or something like that. Because I was like, I've never seen somebody do that while they're playing in my life. So it was very crazy.
I've only kicked over it.
Yeah.
He had a direct. He had a move. He had a mission there.
Now, see, something like that, I wonder, from a stage manager perspective, anecdotally, how one would feel about that.
I was actually going to bring up the karate kick because that's what's stuck in my brain the whole time. I was pretty upset he disrespected the mic stand, but it was cool. It was fine. It looked cool. I'm just glad Tyler is doing a band again. That's my actual real response. It's great.
What's the most annoying thing about the duties of a stage manager for a fest like that?
Close your ears, Bob. But the dude who sets up sound, the equipment's always really fucked up to begin with. And everything gets unplugged so quickly there. It's
so
actually
easy.
insane.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly just plugging back in monitors or ripping up cables and all that shit. So
Putting out fires,
starting fires. It's all
Renaissance man.
Yeah.
And you were pretty close to the homie Devilmaster during Scarab, right?
Me?
Yeah. And he looks so cool. So everything's
so cool. Yeah, it's great. He's the man.
Yeah. So Missing Link is next. What a set. What a band. What an album. What a year they've had. It was only right that I felt like they played FYA this year. So this is Ear to the Ground Bob doing his thing again. Tell me about putting Missing Link on, Bob.
They're a band that was kind of last on the chopping block the last year or two. And I always felt so bad because I was I love this band. Every time I go to a show, I'm watching them, I'm up front, everything about them sick. And then I was fuck, man, I just don't have room for them this year. Or they, I think the one year they played the pre-show and other stuff. So I was all right, now that the record's out, they need to just fucking play.
Yeah.
And the record, to me, I liked everything they did up until this point, but the record is unbelievable. It's probably my favorite LP that came out last year. And then
you'll hear about that and much more next week on the HardLore Awards.
There we go.
Incredible band. Unbelievable set. This is maybe one of their best. By the end, all the people are piling on, attacking Mike, who sings, which is his dream. And I wonder something like that happening, how a stage manager would react and respond to that. Anecdotally, of course.
It's definitely not my favorite thing when people do the pylon and then they just start moshing because I have to, kind of make sure I don't get hit. Especially during Missing Link, it's I could catch a stray at any point.
Yeah. And then there may be no stage left to manage.
Exactly. But no, everything was good. Everyone was safe. I'm glad Missing Link at one point had 4 Long Island members, so I consider them a Long Island band. And I'm happy another Long Island band's doing well. So there you go.
Let's talk about Chris McCarthy for a second, Scanlon.
He's amazing.
Is there a better guy in the world?
No.
I don't
think so. I mean, I literally don't think so. He's always so happy. He fucking loves eating cheeseburgers. He's just fucking awesome, dude.
And you're going to hear about that so much more.
We got a couple stories coming that...
Yeah. Big Boy is up next. The Bay is back. Big Boy, it feels like another staple at this point.
Yeah.
Of course you got to put him on.
Yeah.
Unbelievable couple years they've been having while operating like a fucking Japanese hardcore band by just putting little EP out, little EP out, little EP out. So cool. Coolest vibe, coolest style. This is another band that's swagged and sauced out of their goddamn minds. Tell me about putting Big Boy on, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, that's, same way I said earlier about Extinguish. Joseph, I think this is probably his 6th FYA period, in a row or something insane. And, again, that whole squad, I love them. And then I love all their bands. And Big Boy is just, if you see Big Boy and you don't instantly have every song, like Ace of Spades, I haven't really listened to it that much just in general, but I know every fucking word just from them playing it every time and everything like that. And then, I mean, they'll always have good reactions. I can't wait I hope they have a new record coming out this year because I feel like that'll, make them even bigger. And it's just a great hardcore band. Brendan, he continued his tradition of launching things off the stage. I guess actually there's somebody here who could probably speak to that more. But
interesting.
But it was a great set as always.
Now, when things are launched, I'm curious, anecdotally, what the perspective would be if you were managing that stage that things were being launched from.
Well, I will say that this is the set that pissed the sound guy off the most.
Oh,
really?
Do tell. Yeah. Any offense to a sound man is a story I want to hear.
Yeah, I actually missed it because my eyes were watching another part of what was going on. But a little secret is this year I actually had an assistant stage manager. His name was Mark.
What?
Very nice guy. He goes,
my God.
FaceTime
is the best.
Get him on FaceTime. We need to hear it.
Yes, goes out with Drain. Good guy. He's a good guy. But anyways,
love him.
So I look up and the sound guy is just on stage yelling at Mark, kind of, and Mark's just I don't know. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I realized the the mic was just completely ripped from the cable, which is like, oh, okay, whatever. The microphone's probably just on the ground. So after the set, Mark is like, I go up to Mark, I was like, oh, why was he like yelling? He's like, dude, did you see what Brendan did? I was like, no. He's like, so the mic broke, and instead of just like throwing the mic behind him, I guess he just launched it into the crowd, like just straight through the whole microphone. So I understand why the sound guy was mad. If I saw it, I probably would have laughed, and then I would be annoyed because I would have to get off stage and run and try to find it. But you know,
was the mic itself broken or just the XLR?
No, the XLR. The XLR was still like the top of the XLR was still in the mic. And yeah, honestly impressive.
Yeah, that's pretty good on the 58 for sure.
Bad solder is all, you know. It's easy fix.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you.
I will have to say there's a story later during Torture where something funny with me and Brendan happened, but I'm just going to say it now in case people turn off the episode. Stop throwing water bottles on stage. That's it. We'll go into it later during Torture, but
okay.
I'm just saying it now.
Got it. A little foreshadowing.
So this is a professional stage manager sharing anecdotally his thoughts on throwing water bottles. It needs to end. This is
not
the official
even a stage
stance.
Manager, promoter,
just
attendee,
in general.
Everything. Just no more.
This is John Scanlon's official thoughts, which I generally
that's gospel.
Share all thoughts with John Scanlon. I'm with him.
Write that down.
So that means that's the official HardLore perspective as well.
Yeah,
I got you, Scanlon.
Thank you.
Of course. Internal bleeding is up next. Continuing the tradition that you started last year of having a classic, prolific, iconic, breakdown-filled death metal band play FYA. I love that you did this. I love that Internal Bleeding got to have this moment in front of a spin kick friendly crowd, which they may only ever get that otherwise when booked by Scanlon. But this is in Florida, you know, the home of death metal, really. So tell me about putting Internal Bleeding on.
Straight edge,
beautiful thing.
Sure.
Yeah, totally.
Totally.
They obviously, like, I don't want to just be like, okay, I got to do this kind of band every year. But after last year, I was like, all right, I feel like we could probably run something back and then just watch people whoop each other's asses for like 25 minutes. And I was like, all right, we got Torture, we got Find a Resting Place. I feel like this is the year it makes sense. And I basically just wanted them to play so Dom and Little Alex could beat the shit out of the crowd the whole time. And they wore matching jackets, like fluorescent yellow jackets to make themselves seen, I think. And just getting to watch them just ruin day after day after day was so worth it. And they played the Gridiron record release in Detroit like a few years ago. And that was like the first time I was like watching people actually get to mosh for them. I was like, all right, they need to play like another like hardcore show soon.
Yeah.
And then it took a little bit, obviously, but yeah, like it's just made for ass kicking. So I was sorry I'm boring you, Bo. But
no.
Get him!
Fuck. You just woke up,
they
man. Come on now.
They did. Alien Breed is one of the hardest songs ever written by a band, and I think if you've not heard it, please pause this, maybe even stop this, and listen to it for the rest of the day. Welcome back. Wasn't that a great song? Now, Scanlon, as a lifelong fan and friend of Internal Bleeding and somebody who's booked them more than maybe any other living promoter, tell me about, from your perspective as a stage manager now, this Internal Bleeding set.
I don't want to say I was worried for them, but I just like, they're definitely, I don't want to say they're obscure, but they're not a household name to a casual death metal fan. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slam, whatever.
Totally.
So I was kind of worried. It was funny because the singer was watching Missing Link, and on the stage, he was just like shaking his head. I was like, what's up? He's like, oh, dude, like, this isn't my shit at all. Like, we're fucked. And I was like, nah, you'd be fine. So they got up, they were doing their thing, and the people were loving it. You know, I think they held their own. I'm happy that they had a ton of people watching them. It was great. The band afterwards, they said they fucking were so excited they actually got to play, and they couldn't have asked for a better response. So, you know,
just a common Chris McCarthy W here.
Yeah.
I love the singers this thing during the blast parts?
Suffocation, dude.
Yeah, exactly. She's just carrying on Long Island tradition, really.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Also, it was funny just watching, like Bob was saying, Kid Alex and Dom looking like Thing 1 and Thing 2, just moshing exactly the same way, dressed the same.
Well, that's what like SSD used to shave and paint X's on the back of their heads so that when they would go into the pit, they would know who each other were, so as not to hit each other.
Do not hit.
Yeah,
Do not hit. Yeah,
that's good. It's a good system. Set of the weekend is up next, I think, for me at least. Death Threat performing live with original drummer Jamie Muckenhoft, who recorded Last Days and Peace and Security. I watched him basically the entire time, and I think I'm wrong now because I think the 2019 This Is Hardcore he also played for, and I was there. But this is the second time I've gotten to see him play for Death Threat, and what a beautiful thing this was. Reaction was insane. This is like the quintessential Death Threat set to me now, just as a fan. So, Bob, I wonder, as a lifelong fan and supporter, how that just feels like, okay, I put them on this fest. You're watching this set from stage. You're seeing it go off better than you or they could ever have imagined. How does that feel?
It's awesome. Probably, I think I was like 14 or 15 when Peace and Security came out, and I was just, my friend played it on the way to some show, and I was like, dude, this is the best band I've ever heard in my life. And that was the only CD he had in the car. So we listened to that the entire way to Philly and the entire way back to the Burbs. And I've been like obsessed with them ever since. And they played FYA before, but like it was at the Orpheum with like the super tall stage and everything like that. And I was like, I want to run it back with the better environment, for stage diving and everything like that. And then, they've been a band since when they started, 97 or 98, whatever,
97.
And so, 28 years as a fucking band and getting that kind of reaction still. Aaron just is the coolest looking frontman of all time. I don't think he wears, like, it'll be the middle of summer and he'll wear like a fucking jacket and pants and not be sweating like one bit. I don't understand. Like, he's just the coolest frontman ever.
I noticed that.
Yeah, just seeing them get that kind of reaction with like new kids going off and everything. Yeah, it was fucking great.
It's beautiful. The pit. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say the whole set was great. It was curated for a wonderful experience. That last like 4-song rock block was actually crazy and one of the best, certainly the best time I've ever seen them
It was
play.
like Never Again, God and Government, Outcast, Disgrace, Dead at Birth, I think was like the last
Brotherhood
big
Dead at
block.
Birth.
Brotherhood, oh my God.
Yeah, it
Jesus
was
Christ.
fucking awesome. It was awesome.
That was insane. The stage was full of like Connecticut OGs, which was really cool too. A lot of people in that room that I would not be sitting here without. So that it was just felt like a very full circle thing. Now, from a stage manager perspective, there's a lot to manage during that one.
How do I forget?
Tell me about
time.
the Death Threat set, Scanlon.
So before they played, they were having issues with like his guitar, and at the Coal World show in Brooklyn, they had a huge issue with that. So luckily, they were able to figure it out. It had something to do with the wireless. Like the bass player and the guitar player were on the same channel. You guys find out how that works. I don't know that shit.
The RF, they were sharing one RF frequency, which is a big no-no.
Yeah, so I'm glad we troubleshooted that before the set actually started. But yeah, other than that, that's definitely when the stage started to get a little mobbed. And I tell Bob every year he's got to hire stage security because I don't want to deal with kicking people off. But
yeah,
fine, held my own. It was good. No issues. Everything was good.
This part, I filmed this part during Brotherhood, and I want everybody to know this is seeing Jamie play this part firsthand, but also the way that Steve jumps and hits it without a count.
Yeah, there's no count.
Blows my mind. Here's this little clip I took. Wow. Unbelievable. Can you believe that, guys? That what we all just seen. Saw?
Amazing.
Thank you, Bob.
Seeing my little arm reach out in that clip. That was good.
Stout is up next. Goddamn, Bob, you got him. You made it happen.
Yeah, it felt like a long time coming.
Tell me about A, making it happen, B, the set day of.
It's just like I used to, when I first started booking shit, I would just get pretty bummed when I would ask bands to play and they would not be able to figure it out or kind of just like not respond or whatever. And then I realized obviously people have real life shit going on, or, you know, the timing just doesn't work, whatever. So I don't mind. I'm very persistent. If I really think a set will be good for the band, or I personally just want to see them or book them, I'll literally, like, there's bands I throw text to like literally once or twice a year just to be like, all right, how about now? How about now? And like, I'm always like, if you tell me no, it's totally fine. And I'm like, I know I'm being fucking annoying as shit, but so yeah, that's just something that I tried for, I don't even know, probably as long as the fest has been going. And then I got an email from one of their friends being like, hey, heard you've been trying to do Stout for a while. Like, are you interested this year? Because I'm like trying to help them do shit. And I was like, dude, for the love of God, yes, let's fucking work this out. And so yeah, it just, I was, when I, that was like, I was psyched on how things were going with the fest. And they're actually probably one of the first bands I confirmed. They dropped off the fest and then reconfirmed and then dropped off and reconfirmed probably like 3 or 4 times. Oh, and wow. I was like, all right, if there's another band, I would just be like, whatever, we'll just call it a day. But I was just like, all right, if you can make it work, just, I will be patient. I don't give a fuck. Let's just like do it. And yeah, just seeing the stages, you know, obviously Scanlon can do more of this, but I mean, like, that was probably the best reaction I've seen them have. Like, people, I've seen them have scarier reactions, but it's like 5 people just beating the shit out of the crowd. This is just like, the whole room was moshing. People were screaming every fucking word, like pile-ons, whatever. So in my opinion, is the best out of that I've seen. And just the collection of hooligans on stage for them and just psychopaths just made the vibe so awesome. Like, at one point I looked over and Scanlon was just like, there's like 7 just like old Baltimore dudes just grabbing the mic, screaming the words. And it was fucking killing me because he was just getting overpowered, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bass player had a massive Primus sticker on the back of his bass neck, so I immediately knew I was in for a treat. And also just confirmed what I already knew, that the band was incredible.
Had no idea that was the Slumlords guy.
Yeah.
Just didn't know. Never put it together.
Just a beautiful community.
Wasn't it mostly Stout? Like, wasn't it the drummer and the bass player?
I think both were in Slumlords, yeah.
The bass player is very recognizable.
Yeah.
So when I saw them when I saw Slumlords as a young man, I went, oh, that's the same guy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, Scanlon, how about you share your perspective as a stage manager about the Stout set?
Yeah, I mean, I wish I could give more, but I was engulfed by like 10 drunk Baltimoreans just singing their heart out.
Which can you blame them? You know,
no. You know, I book old school New York hardcore bands all the time, so I'm used to just dealing with that all the time. You know, but they were scaring me a bit because at one point the dude turned around and he's like, "You're not in the friend group," and I'm like, "I'm just working.
Yeah.
I'm just working."
Someone said you're not in the friend group.
Yes, literally. Awesome. They turned around and they're like, "You're not in the friend group," and I'm like, "I'm just working." So whoa. I thought I was going to catch a classic Stout beat down, but everything was fine. The last time I saw a Stout, I got my tooth chipped, so I'm glad that did not happen this time.
Excellent.
Made it safe.
How's that tooth now?
Half of it is fake, so it's good.
Oh, good. It's back.
Yeah, it's back.
Fury is up next. Fury, Death Threat, Stout, Fury. Just an insane... the dichotomy here.
Yeah.
Or trichotomy?
Yeah, try.
Outstanding. Tell me about putting Fury on. This is California modern classic at this point. They've been a band for, 11 years now. When was the last time they played FYA, Bob?
It was an Orpheum year. I don't even know, honestly. It was probably like 7. Maybe, it might have been the year God's Hate played the first time.
16?
Yeah, I think that was literally the last time they played. Yeah,
it's crazy.
So yeah, I mean, they just, not that they ever went away, but I feel like people have a newfound appreciation for them in the last couple of years. And they played Triple B last year, and it was like one of the best sets I've ever seen them play.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're just, I love them. And then they were very needed at the time, and then they're definitely very needed now. Just playing that kind of hardcore, which is like not a lot of bands doing it. And yeah, I mean, that's playing after Death Threat and Stout. I don't envy any band, obviously, but they held it down, and then people were super psyched for them, and the set was fucking great.
I have a picture of when Alex showed up before their set, and he said, "Yo, check out my drum gear." He opened up a tote bag to a pair of drumsticks and like a protein bar. That's all he brought.
That sounds like him.
One pair.
Sound like him.
But man, he's Dr. Phil,
Got it.
Unbelievable. Scanlon, tell me about a stage managing Fury.
I felt bad for Alfredo, man.
Yeah,
he has that same head that you dealt with. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
but,
little foreshadowing on the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, I felt
Just some kind of power issue. We'll figure it out.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it ended up being fine. Alex did have to yell to lower Alfredo in his monitor like multiple times, which was pretty funny. But the set was awesome. That Power Mount is an amazing record. Amazing record.
It went over great at FYA, and I'll tell you something that always goes over great at FYA. That's the next band, Mindforce. I think if they play 2026, Bob, they got a headline.
There's not many other places they can go at this point. I mean, they've just been dominating the fest for I don't even know how long, many years, 4 or 5 years now. I can't remember.
Yeah, that's their residency. Is an annual show.
Yeah, I mean, they're just such a fucking sick band, and the reaction's always crazy, and people always do wild shit when they play, and then Jay's just calling for more craziness the whole time. And then
beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, just them dudes, like I love all the guys in the band. I think it's fucking, I don't know. I'm glad of all the bands that have played this many years in a row. It's them, because it's always like insanely consistent, and it always one-ups the year before. So I mean, they might have to just headline next year. I don't really know what else I can do with them. I mean, they literally have just dominated the fest for half a decade. So
love them, love getting to watch them, love talking to them. They're all in great other bands at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Two of which played the next day. But this Mindforce set, one of the best. This is one of the only double pit sets, I think,
There's
from
3.
this FYA. 3, see?
Yeah, we got 3.
Maybe the only triple pit set. I would love to see them in a headline positioning. If it's not FYA, just somewhere at some point. I think it's time. I think they can hold their own with any. Now, Scanlon.
Yeah.
Tell me, from your mind and your point of view, from an anecdotally spoken perspective, stage managing Mindforce.
Well, I was a little bummed because I forgot to mention before, when the older guy bands start playing, it's usually a little bit slower on setting up. So we were like 20 minutes behind, and Nick, the bass player, was just nowhere to be found for like a solid 10 minutes. So that sucks. Other than that, they killed it. It's great.
Which that's the stage management anecdote for Mindforce.
Yes.
As a stage manager.
As a stage manager, I just wish you were on time.
Yeah, right.
But other than that, you fucking killed it. Kill every year.
Outstanding. There it is. Beautiful. Pardon this interruption. This episode is brought to you by Manscaped. So then you're going to put like eagles and explosions there? Okay, yeah, that's cool. You hear that sound, the eagles and the explosions? That is the sound of an incredible deal. And if you go to manscaped.com right now and use code HardLore, you're going to get 20% off and free shipping site-wide. That's right. You stink from FYA. You stank at FYA. You can fix that. The Crop Reviver, the Crop Preserver. Quit dicking around. Let me hear that eagle one more time. Outstanding. Foundation is next. They're back.
The only band that could follow Mindforce at this point.
Pretty much the sentiment. Straight edge band, so that's one more for the counter.
4 for the day.
That's right. They're back. Our good buddy Champ back on the skins.
Oh.
Just this I feel like this really exceeded expectations from my mind. I think one of the Devotion 3 sing-along was one of the loudest things I've ever heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Like from a pure scientific decibel standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
You've got two generations here who missed Foundation entirely.
Yeah, we were talking about this. There was, after they broke up pre-COVID, and then post-COVID, the boom of kids who got into hardcore, like during and after COVID.
There's two booms that missed them here.
Two booms.
And then the whole generation that was there throughout their checkered journey through bandom. But yeah, they're back. They're not done. They're playing House of Disorder. But this was they played one show in Atlanta as like a surprise thing in December. This was the big one. This was the big event, headlining day one of FYA. Bob, tell me about putting this together, putting them on, the set from your perspective, how you're feeling now about it.
Yeah, I feel like I toured with them probably like 3 or 4 times, just with like, but I feel like they toured with everybody 3 or 4 times, but like,
yeah,
always got along, always liked the band. Yeah, they were always great. And, so that's like another band that I've been punishing for a few years. Like, yo, like, I know, you guys said never, but just throwing it out there, like I would do it whenever you want. I think it would be awesome. There's so many kids that missed out on you guys. Yeah. Because they went out at the height of them as a band, I think. Like, because obviously they existed for a while and then they just get, by the end, especially with the last EP, was like their like peak. So it's
you put out your best record.
Yeah.
And then your last tour is your best tour.
Well, one wonders if that's because they said it was their last tour.
Of course.
That's always how it goes. Yeah.
But in the moment you're experiencing that and you're like, fuck, this is what being a band can be like. That's crazy.
Right.
So
I understand,
Yeah, so this year I threw out the yearly text and I was just trying to like go through what I want to do. And he's like, all right, I actually think this might be able to work. Can you give me like a week? And I was like, that was a productive text. All right, cool. And then literally a week later, he's like, I think we can make this happen. Like, blah, blah, whatever. And I was just like, all right, let's fucking run it.
Whose ear are you Grima worm tonguing into? Champ.
What the hell? Am I whatting what?
Don't worry about it. Champ Theoden. I got it.
It actually, like, once it got going, probably within like a week and a half, everything was like confirmed and good to go. And from the start, they were like, hey, we probably want to do like a hometown thing first. And I was like, if there's any band that really puts on from where they're from and like make it a thing, it's them. So like, yeah, dude, like I would feel like an asshole if, you guys want to do this. I'm like, fuck no, you have to play my thing first. You know what I mean? So I was just like, totally fine. I was like, let me at least put it up. As long as I'm the first one that announces it, you want to announce later on, that'd be awesome. And I felt bad at a point because there's a time when I was going to have to switch the weekends. So I was just like, yo, like, if you can make this work, I'm sorry. This is like your first show back and it's like a fucking, nightmare with logistics and stuff. And they're always down. Like, we'll make whatever happen. It's going to be in different cities, different whatever. And they're always down to do it. So I'm glad they're patient with everything and it worked out the way it did. And you never, with a band like that, there's a lot of pressure, I feel like. And then you don't want to be the guy that convinces a band to do it. And then they come back and it's just fucking like horrible. So I never thought it would be bad, but I was just like, maybe I'm just insanely wrong and I don't know anything about anything. And it was probably the best set I've ever seen them play. And
100%.
Yeah, it was, especially that last 3-song block. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ, dude. So
that's another thing about the work you put in about switching the venue is not switching the weekend.
We talked briefly. You were almost going to have to switch the weekend. Were there many or any bands that were like not going to be able to do it if that were the case?
There was one band, I think Killing Frost was the one band that was like, this is the only time we can do it. But like, so just let us know as soon as possible. But like every other band, I was trying to keep, texting fucking 37 bands was truly punishing. But every time, people would be like, yo, we'll work with whatever. Just let us know, whatever. So everybody's really cool about everything and understood the situation.
Only one out of 37.
Yeah,
only one is
30,
insane.
yeah.
Now, what I wonder is when something like this Foundation set is happening, and people are piling onto the stage and singing loud and things are breaking and things are crazy, what a stage manager's perspective is,
I can't even
anecdotally,
imagine.
for something like this.
Just on my toes, getting ready for something to break. Surprisingly, the mic didn't go out once. Everything was perfect.
Thomas,
they had an insane amount of pylons, as one would expect.
Yeah.
Old school OSPO, everything was good. I was surprised they did not Pray for Atlanta. It was very, very surprising.
Maybe they're saving that one for Atlanta only from now on or something?
I don't know.
But you would think prayers from non-Atlantans are what they're looking for here,
Yeah, people in Atlanta are already thinking about Atlanta.
Yeah. They're consumed. They're obsessed with Atlanta, these guys. But that was day one. This is fantastic. What a great day. You guys gave us a nice little room back there. We filmed some good stuff.
Yeah, that was awesome, Bob. I already thanked you, but let me formally thank you on the show. That was fantastic for us. Exactly what we needed.
This is what, three years in a row of HardLore and FYA?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
The Brotherhood?
Very beautiful.
Just making shit happen. Thank you for that. Thank you for having us. Thank you for giving us that space.
We went and
we will use it for good.
We went and had Portillo's.
We went to Portillo's 3 nights in a row.
3 nights in a row.
I forgot to eat it when I was down there. I was pretty bummed, honestly.
Oh my God, Bob. Well, first of all, which that one near Universal is the one we went to.
Yeah.
What an unbelievable location, first and foremost.
Spotless and empty.
Empty, spotless, and their attitudes they are making jokes rhyming with your order number.
Dude, I think that's how they do it in Chicago. So I think that's part of the thing is number 8, no more wait. They have to do that. Yeah. It's great.
Well, God, if you find yourself at Portillo's anytime soon, anybody listening, plus Bob and Scanlon, I would recommend get the big beef combo.
Yep.
Add hot peppers and mozzarella. I know are you not much of a spice guy, right, Bob?
I don't know how you knew that, but yes, I did not fuck with spicy. Really.
Then get the sweet peppers are great. They're not even remotely spicy.
That's true. Yeah, don't get the hot peppers, but add the mozzarella. Then get a couple dogs with everything. Bob, I don't know how you feel about it. Yeah. No. Okay. Get a couple dogs with ketchup and enjoy. I got you. All right. Day 2, bright and early. Doors at 11 a.m. And guess what? Guess what's opening this show? We got Statement of Pride, fucking straight edge, opening this show.
Boom.
I'm gonna run. I'll be thinking straight.
Opening.
Throw it on the counter.
Opening with Thinking Straight.
Come on. I'm thinking straight. They got me thinking straight at noon, thinking I'm seeing one of the greatest opening sets I've ever seen. Tell me about Statement of Pride, Bob. Putting them on.
That's I lived in Pensacola for a couple years, so I always try to put on for them if they got good bands going and everything. And then Carter does From Within Records and does a lot for hardcore. And I think the band's sick. They're one of the only current bands on Youngblood currently. They're straight
edge, which
edge.
Is fucking sick as hell.
Yeah, I mean that's being a PA guy, obviously.
Sig is straight edge.
Yes, you guys know. Yeah, you toured with him. He toured with
toured with the homie Sig, and has he been straight edge the whole time?
Yeah.
Where the hell did Sig? I'm sure we've been explaining this before, but and now he's the front man, rightfully so. Yep. He did a great job. I'm getting Strife vibes.
Yeah, big
from
time.
Statement of Pride. Loving it.
Conviction. They know their shit, and they're a great band. So I was glad to see the Sunday noon spot is probably the hardest place to play ever on a hardcore fest.
You think so?
To me, it's the hardest one to convince people to come out early. Everybody's tired of shit after the first day.
Yeah.
So they held it down, and it was a really good first set.
And they played to probably 800 people. I mean, it was
a
lot of fucking people were there.
They turned up. It was beautiful. Now, if you're stage managing at noon on a Sunday, I would wonder how you would feel. So, Scanlon, if you could share that perspective.
Well, I was worried for them because we only found out on the first day, probably a little bit before doors, that there would be no reentry. So I was worried that an opening band on a Sunday, if all these people that had to deal with the no reentry bullshit were we're just going to show up late. But luckily, a great amount of people showed up. Like stated, started with a Youth Today cover, which was awesome. Bo was in the pit. I saw him from the stage. I was like, there he is. There he is. And then
clocking in.
They were great.
Quick shift.
Beautiful.
Quick shift this weekend. Bob, can we ask about the no reentry thing? Because people are going to complain about anything anyone does ever.
Yeah.
And a chief complaint among that might not be something that is necessarily in your control.
Oh, well, obviously, I think rule number one would be Bob wants reentry.
Yes.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It would be stupid to think otherwise. So maybe if you're going to complain about things Bob can control.
Yeah,
But,
I mean,
what happened here?
The thing, like, again, it's a new venue. I'd been there twice before, and like obviously when you're doing something like at a new spot, sometimes like you're just like, fuck, man, I forgot to like check on this, whatever, all this other stuff.
Sure.
And then I was under the impression the whole time that you just couldn't leave the entire, the whole spot. But then I was told the night before, wait, no, like we mean like you can't go to your car and back. And I was like, you're fucking killing me, dude. I was like, like the venue is unbelievable. Everybody I work with is fucking great. But he told me then, obviously, because they do mostly EDM stuff and like other bullshit. So they're not used to 2 days of like a hardcore festival. They don't really know like, the inner workings of that. And Hal was explaining to me, like, it makes sense. He's like, yo, like if somebody goes to their car, does drugs, gets super fucked up, whatever, and they come back in and like something happens, then we're responsible. So like we try to control as much as we can with people here. We don't overserve people, can't bring in drugs like other, fucking whatever. So that's something for next year. That's like on my list of things I need to like figure out and try to make work. Like, I mean, even as much as like having an actual bag check. So people like, if they buy shit, they can just like put stuff, whatever. Yeah. So that's definitely something.
Haywire's got that covered. Yeah. Don't you? Yeah. Austin's got the bag check covered.
I appreciated the hustle this year, but I was like, maybe we could do like an actual organized one next year. But
let Austin have something.
But this is good because I want to give you, Bob, the opportunity to address the things that I saw, because any complaint that I saw about this fest, I got so fucking mad because there's no way that people understand the lengths that you had to go to make this all happen.
Yeah, and it's like, and it's stuff that, all right, if you looked on the site, I mean, it's just a venue. They're allowing me to do something there. So the rules and everything like that were on the site, and like I was just like, all right, like even like the clear bag bullshit, like I was just like, I posted it because I was like, fuck, I completely forgot about like this. I assumed that people had just checked it out before and they didn't. I wasn't trying to pull like a fucking okey doke on everybody coming to the fest. Like, yeah, I got you good. Like, you know what I mean? And just like, dude,
you're saying they checked it out. Yeah, they didn't check it out, but you didn't check it out either.
No, I was just like, it doesn't even like cross my mind. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and I was just like, fuck. So, because somebody asked me, I was like, I wonder what the rule is with that. And I was like, I'm still fucked. I was like, everybody's gonna think I'm like trying. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Make your life miserable as an attorney.
Right. Yeah.
No,
exactly.
Like I want you to be here, feel comfortable, whatever. So I was like, I'm truly sorry if that happened to you. I just want to say I'm actually sorry. We're trying to figure out something better for next year, or I'll make things more clear. But again, it was a first year. There's a lot of things that I needed to like see in person and figure out that I might not have known before. So next year will be better all around.
Great.
The best part about all that happening was 3 people tried to step to Bob, and I wish I could have saw it. All because of reentry. They went up to him and started fucking like pressing him about it, and I wish I could have saw it.
Really?
Awesome.
It was Friday. I did the early check-in, and people would be like, "Hey, like, what's up with reentry?" I was like, "Oh, like we can go to our car." I was like, "Yeah, of course, yeah, you can go to your car and like back, like they'll just get like rechecked at security," which is what I thought was happening. Did not happen. And then like I made a thing, and like literally like 11 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, this group of 3 people that I recognized the day before was like, yo, man, what's up? You told us we could go to our car. What the fuck are we supposed to do now? And I was like, dude, I can't get beat up in my own fest by three like 21-year-old kids. Like, that's a horrible look. So I was like, yo, I'm sorry. That's on me. My bad. Like, if I can help you out with anything, just let me know. And I literally felt horrible. And I was like, well, I didn't get my ass kicked, so I guess it could have been worse. But I was like, I didn't lie. I didn't fucking know.
Yeah, you didn't know.
So if you're watching this, I apologize. Thanks for not embarrassing me in my own fest. So
one thing I did like between day 1 and day 2 is day 2 there were more food vendors.
That's another thing. Like I don't really know what happened because I connected a bunch of food and drink people with everybody organizing that stuff. So there's actually supposed to be more and more like local stuff. So that's another thing I got to check on for next year. But yeah, after day 1, they're like, oh, like we were running out of food at the one spot. We didn't know people would be eating this, that, and the other. So they brought more food vendors in for everybody and everything like that. So
It's awesome.
They acknowledge what was going on and just try to accommodate more people and all that.
Yeah, there's an improvement overnight. I think that shows that you're working at a place that, or working with a place that wants to make it as enjoyable for everyone as possible.
Yeah, exactly.
Contention is up next.
They, I don't know if you guys saw the set, but yeah, they played a couple years ago. They kind of hopped on last second because a couple bands dropped, and the set was just unbelievable. And I was like, "Holy shit!" Because like I liked the first thing to put out, and then I didn't realize, I don't live in Florida anymore, so I didn't realize like just how much of like a thing they were, which was sick because those kids have been coming around for a while and always been doing cool shit. And then, so I try to switch up the Florida stuff every year, so I'm not just like hooking up the same bands over and over again. But then, they put out the LP on Days this year, and that was fucking great. And then, so they came up and played Philly in like May, I think. They jumped on this Painted True show that was happening. And then, it was just, I asked them then, I was like, yo, you guys got to come back and play this year. And, dude, for fucking 12:30 on a Sunday, the set was just like ridiculous.
Out of control.
Yep.
Straight Edge band, I think.
Oh, yeah.
6.
This is the real Edge day. You kidding me? God, yeah, this was awesome. Anything you noticed while managing the stage, Scanlon?
No, I would just compare their reaction to the year that, maybe it was last year that Balmora, it was their first time playing, and it was just fucking insane. This was like up there. It was probably one of the better opening sets I've ever seen. It was
just
great.
no caffeine in anyone's system, but they're still moshing their asses off. It's beautiful.
That's right. That's what I want to hear. No caffeine. It's great.
Wow, okay. Oh, Fatal Realm is next. This is one of the best new bands on Earth. Three-piece, brutal band with members of Mindforce, Age of Apocalypse,
Right,
etc. This was outstanding. Sounded huge, hard as shit. I cannot believe this demo. Can't wait to hear more. So this was like, of course, Bob put Fatal Realm on. Tell me about putting Fatal Realm on. Your thoughts on their set?
They were probably one of the last two bands I think I put on because I had one spot held for another band and then it just wasn't working out. And like in the meantime, the demo had come out and like I was like, fuck, man. I was like, I wish I didn't like, there's nothing on the lineup I wanted to put in place of. I was like, I just don't know if I have room for this band, but I want to see this in front of a bunch of people. I fucking love it. And so they were like, like one of the last two bands I confirmed and like got on, and I was like so psyched. And then they played Philly at the Scarab Christmas show a couple weeks ago, and the room was like fucking psychotic the whole time. So I was like, all right, this is going to be something. And the set was better than I thought it was even going to be. I don't understand how Mike. I literally texted him as soon as the demo came out. I was like, yo, who's like singing on this? It's like, oh, it's me. Like, how the fuck do you sound like that? Like, where did that? I have no idea where that came from. The shit that he plays.
From the depths.
I mean, he's a psychopath, dude. Like him being the only guitar player in Mindforce and the only guitar player in Fatal Realm makes no sense to me. Like I don't understand. And then they're just unbelievably heavy and sick. And then I can't wait to hear more from them.
Agreed. And tell me about stage managing for Fatal Realm. How'd it go, Scanlon?
Oh, it was great. The obituary cover was a nice touch.
That was good.
It is insane that Mike can play those guitar parts while singing. And their set was like 10 minutes. It was great. We saved so much time in the beginning of the second day. It was great.
Yeah,
and they started.
You're running ahead.
When did this get off track?
Yeah.
Well, it got off track in the way that we were at one point running 15 minutes early, and I had to tell Stigmatism to wait like 5 or 10 minutes. And then it ended right on time, right? Because Nails started at like 9:40, but
okay,
something
pretty good.
Yeah,
Nothing But Enemies is next. Opening with Empty Promises. I'm having a blast watching this. There's Glasgow.
Yep,
love it. All these Northern Unrest bands, man, they get me. They know what I like. Tell me about putting them on.
Yeah, I mean, they like every year I feel like it ends up just, it's not even like really on purpose other than I pay attention to all of the stuff those guys do. Because same way with like they're like, I explain this to other places, but like they're basically like the UK version of the Bay to me. Like their whole scene is just fucking sick. Everybody involved is a dope mosher or in sick bands or into sick shit. And if you, I just, the fact that they created that scene is like so crazy to me. Like, it's just, it's unbelievable. Like, I mean, people come from all around the world to go to their fucking fest. You know what I mean?
As they should.
I remember, I remember when we were first talking about going to Europe and we asked whoever was booking it, like, oh, what about like Scotland? We'd like to go there. And they're like, yeah, there's no one goes there.
Yeah.
I've played good shows in Glasgow, but it wasn't what it is now.
No,
they've like made it like a destination. And so last year, the singer Scott came out and he was in every pit destroying people. Like he's like 7'7", just 2 cartwheels across the pit. Like I was just like, dude, I want to just like have him over just to mosh to every band. Like I'll buy his fucking plane ticket just because like, all right, like, so I was like, all right, cool. I'll fucking put his band on so he can be here moshing and kicking people's asses. And I think the record's really fucking sick. And yeah, I mean, obviously people fuck with it, and the cover was great to open up. And you know, having those kids come over and get the response they do is so fucking like sick to me, because again, the same way with like other stuff, they do so much for their scene and bring in bands, you know, Mindforce, whoever, like all like Scarab, like to where they're from. So it's like getting the pay back is like fucking really sick to me.
Dude, that is an incredible concept. Flying in local
moshers.
Areas like best moshers.
Ringers.
It's like the
AFI.
It's like the AFI video.
I love it. Yeah.
It's like Leaving Song Part 2. Dude, speaking of being in the pit the whole weekend, Mike Bulldoze,
my God.
He was just fucking, he was an animal.
He's the menace, dude.
Bringing the meme to life in reverse.
In reverse, yes.
Unbelievable.
Outstanding.
Man.
I couldn't believe
it. He was like moshing harder for the sub 30 bands, you know?
Yeah. And taking a beating too. Like I watched him just like, you know, just do that. But fully
he's on
with
feet at all times. Yeah.
Smile on his face.
Crazy.
What a guy.
He's awesome.
What a guy.
Nothing but enemies. I wonder what a stage manager thinks of that set.
Dude, good question. Wow.
You know, no complaints. Everything was great. I thought I didn't know who sang for that band prior. And when that dude got on stage, I was like, oh, that's that motherfucker. Like Bob said, he was just like fucking people up at the JCC like a year ago. And I was like, damn, I thought that guy was a douche. And then he's playing. I was like, man, this guy's awesome. He's just a sick mosher, great front man. I was like, he's not a douche. He's awesome. So he's awesome, man. You're awesome.
They're named after a Stigmata song. I'm in.
Yeah. Fucking great.
I like it all. Stigmatism is next. 15 minutes of punishment. This shit rips. Tell me about Stigmatism, Bob.
They're another band, like, if hardcore kids just listen to them based on, you know, oh, I heard this band sound like this. I guess, like, people just don't really check things out unless, you know, it's, like, very, like, cut and dry with things. And then they obviously, as you can tell by the name, they just sound like AF. And
incredible.
They played Philly earlier this year. I did a show for them, and I was just, because I love the record, and I was like, dude, I just need to see this fucking. And every time they would come through Philly or in the area, I just wasn't around. It was driving me crazy. So I was like, yo, yeah, I don't know if you guys be into it at all. If you want to come play FYA, I think it'd be awesome and like show kids like some quote unquote real shit, as corny as that sounds. And they were just totally down. And yeah, Gorilla's a fucking man. And they just fucking got up there and ripped it. They look cool as shit. You know, they played, like you said, like basically probably like 15 minutes. And yeah, they're just a perfect hardcore band to me. I love them.
These are guys I've seen around forever too, I feel like.
Yeah, Spoilers in it, who was in Justice and a bunch of other bands.
That's right.
So yeah, great squad.
Prolific hardcore album and t-shirt artist, Spoiler. Rocking in band still. That's what it's all about. Now, Scanlon.
Yes.
What was it like stage managing for this set?
It was great. It was quick to the point, like Bob said. I give Bob credit because as a promoter, the worst thing you can do is just book bands that like you only want to see, and like other people might not care, because that will affect the turnout at some points. But obviously with a fest, you kind of got a little bit more free reign, you know? But I think him doing that gets so many of the younger kids into different kinds of bands and like opens their ears to different kinds of styles. Because like I feel like a younger kid, which is insane to say, probably has not heard anything that sounded like Agnostic Front or anything like that. So to see a band like that and them maybe being into it could gateway them to hopefully Agnostic Front.
And is that not the purpose of something like FYA existing? You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
it's a buffet.
Dude, not only is it a buffet, but it's like a breakfast buffet. It's how you're starting the year.
That's what, yeah, absolutely. That is true. It's been really nice to have as this just like beautiful tradition of here's what this year is going to be like.
Here's what you should pay attention to.
The stars of tomorrow.
Yeah. And I just think I'm very impressed with how you're able to diversify your lineup while not having like a bunch of indie bands or a bunch of pop punk bands or like whatever. It's still a hardcore fest. It's awesome. Scanlon, had you made any adjustments between day one and day two? Meaning like, day one, this kept happening, so we're going to fix it.
Yeah, just like wire placement and just like I made sure. So this year I told Bob, I was like, try to get 2 bass cabs because, you know, the bass players can just switch off between. It'll be easier. And every single bass player just used the same exact bass cab, the same bass head. So didn't matter. Same thing with the guitar heads. And, you know,
here's the technical reason why, to me, bass players should be stage right. If the guitar player that starts the songs is by themselves, they should be hi-hat side.
Okay.
You know?
I get it. I totally get it. And, you know, it was just wishful thinking that it would speed things up. But honestly, everything ran fine, so I can't complain.
Beautiful.
Can't complain.
Speaking of running fine, Holy Blade is up next.
I want to preface this by
Brutal.
explaining how when COLIN has a set at any fest, it doesn't matter what band it is, he's different COLIN. He's show COLIN until they play, and then
I think about my whole life,
and then he's COLIN.
Then
he's normal COLIN.
Yeah.
But for these first few hours, let me tell you.
Yeah, Colin, let me ask you, as a stage manager, witnessing what happened during Holy Blade, can you give me the play-by-play as a guitar player?
100%. So
what happened here?
So I was having a power issue with my head at home at practice like months ago.
Prior, yeah.
Wait, so you went to this fest knowing that you're before,
but I've been using it since, and it was fine. And so it's different wattage based on however many ohms it's plugged into. So in a 4 ohm cab, it's pushing 300 watts.
So for those of you listening who know about this stuff, it's a solid state head for power with a tube for the preamp.
Right. So I've tried it with other cabs, I'm fine. I think as long as I'm not using a 4 ohm cab, I'm fine. So before I check, is this a 8 or 16? Yes. So I'm good. I was not good. First, head dies. So this is first song. I'm already like, this isn't. Well, something ain't right. But I don't think I have time.
You were plugged into the Marshall, right? The Marshall cab.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a Marshall cab on that.
Marshall cabs are 4 ohm in mono, 8 in stereo. You were plugged into the 4 ohm input on that speaker.
Okay.
You were plugged into the 8 at first, and that wasn't working at all, and that's why we switched it.
So I was specifically plugged into a 4 ohm cab. That's awesome. So that's what happened there, and that's why that happened.
But that's not. It's true.
I'm just
telling him.
That's the only other time it had happened.
But so I'm saying that's a fault with the head. Any solid state head can do that. So I'm just saying
100%.
It's
okay.
Okay, good.
I don't acknowledge that.
I don't want to give bad advice to someone listening thinking,
I'm not blaming the cab.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not saying that should work.
Yes.
My head didn't work. So there's that. And then I don't have time to do all this. I'm not going to be like, stop the set. I need to fix my shit. No, keep playing. You know? Who cares?
Thank God.
I'll come back. Then my pedals die.
Well, no, hold on a second. First, that happened. Then we switched you to a 6505. Martine switched you over.
It was great.
And it worked for a second.
Hit my delay pedal, and I heard, ah! And it was like, okay, this is great. So then I went straight in,
and you're good.
And Martine dialed me up, and 30 seconds later, I'm good. But that happening in one song is enough to make a man insane.
Oh, I watched you, Colin. I watched your face turn shades of red. I didn't know. It was from embarrassment to fury.
Fury, dude.
Yeah.
Rage. I was as red as my guitar head that failed me. So that sucks. So I'm like, vibe is shot for me, you know?
And yet,
that's all it takes.
And yet, we need to say the crowd was having a great time.
Yeah.
Mac's playing like a motherfucker.
And let me preface this with, I think Bob was maybe the second or third person to hear this record. Just because I wanted to play halfway. So, and I wanted Bob to hear it. Bob was gracious enough to allow us to play. So thank you, Bob. Sorry that I did that.
Hold on, but we're not even done.
We're not done. So so Mac, who plays drums, has not played drums live in like 10 or 15 years, and he's just absolutely smashing it.
He's a machine.
Crushing it.
Yeah.
Mike hand-built his bass that he's using. And it's great. Alec is using the same head as me, so it dies about halfway through.
So I want everybody listening to this who plays live music, every guitar player who plays live music, they had two identical heads fail in the same way within 10 minutes of each other. The odds of this happening are not possible.
It's not possible.
There was a problem. And yet
we're cursed, so it did happen. So that's cool.
I ran over to Alec's head because I was on stage right side, and I plugged him straight in. I checked everything, make sure nothing wiggled out. Martine and I were both looking at it. Nothing. Alec.
Who's that?
Oh, but first, before we get to that,
let's get there.
Yeah.
Let's get there. I texted Bob and Scanlon like a month ago saying, hey, we're going to do a cover at FYA. Scanlon, I feel like you might mosh. Did you mosh for any other band the whole weekend?
Yes.
Who?
Only one. When Silver covered Dynamo.
Okay. So 2 European covers got you, you know? In a way.
Yeah, in a way.
Beautiful. In a way. Covered World Collapse with Martine and Scott. Scott has never sang that part live before.
That is not
That's
true.
Crazy.
I found out that and Martine confirmed it, and Scott went, "Oh, I forgot." They did play it one time in Europe.
So for a month, Scott is like, "I've never done it before. This is crazy."
Yeah. They played it one time.
All right. Well, this is the second time Scott has ever done it.
First time in America.
First time in America, and the first time he's subsequently moshed for it. So that was cool.
Hell yeah, get him out.
It was really fucking cool seeing you guys play that and seeing only people in our age group, everyone on this call, like singing along. And I was jumping up and down at one point when Vogel was walking to the mic because I was that excited to be like, I've been listening to this for over 20 years whenever it came out.
Me too. And playing that mosh part is the sickest thing ever. Even though that's exactly where Alec's head died. That was awesome.
Alex had completely died.
Last 2 tracks, he just becomes frontman.
He sets his guitar down,
gives up, and then becomes the real Alec. You know?
Yeah, dude, it was awesome.
The vibe was awesome.
Nice. The vibe was so good.
And maybe it was a sign of things to come. Maybe it was a one-time thing. I guess we'll never know. I guess we'll sometimes know. From a stage manager's perspective, when you see a man's life flashing before his eyes as his world is collapsing around him, what are your thoughts?
I just, I felt really bad, but the set was going great, and I was like, I'm glad it did not kill the vibe. I felt so bad that I was like, you know what, they're going to cover a band I really like. I'll mosh for it. It'll make him happy.
It really did. I saw you get off. I saw the homie Scarab get off. That felt good. Yeah. At one point, the last insult to injury moment was before we started. I put a bunch of picks on the cab, just in case I dropped one. I dropped one. They put a head over the cab where all those picks were. So I had to use my negative nails to claw my pick off the ground while I'm the only guitar player playing.
It took so long.
It took forever. It was like, it was brutal.
Oh man.
Hey, but that was so great. The set was great.
That was so great.
I truly commend Alec because he absolutely saved the set.
Yeah, nobody skipped a beat, which is nice.
Yeah. So
it's hardcore, you know? Who gives a fuck?
Absolutely.
We'll be back at some point, and it'll be good someday. Bayway is next. This set was unbelievable.
Dude, the
You didn't even
Sopranos
ask Bob
intro.
for his opinion on your
Bob,
set.
what was your opinion on... I don't want to know his opinion. He's going to break my heart.
Oh, wait. Holy Blade's a straight edge man.
Oh, that's true.
You
There
wore
you
all that
see?
stuff.
We're missing a whole bunch of stuff
that.
right now.
You're right. My fault. Bob, thanks for putting us on.
I mean, you literally sent me the record, I think, 1 week after FYA last year's for your consideration for next year. And I listened to it once. I was like, you're on. I was like, this is fucking
Thanks,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, Bob,
band.
you're a big AFI guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I love them. Yeah.
Great.
I've done 2 cover sets of them in my lifetime. So, yeah,
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah, big fan. But I will say, too, Mike found his black duffel bag.
Yeah.
He did?
He
Isn't
found
that
it.
amazing?
Yeah, so
Dude.
Very glad about that because he is one of the best dudes on earth, and that really bummed me out when he was posting that shit. I was like, even though obviously I wasn't responsible, somehow I felt responsible. So I was, but yeah, the set was still great. I mean, I fucking love that World Collapse song. My heart wanted me to mosh. My body was like, you can't even tie your shoes. Your back hurts so bad. So you are just staying your ass right on stage. So, but I was singing every word to myself. That was unbelievable. You know, like all the songs are great. So yeah, I was glad the set actually happened, regardless of all the difficulties.
Bob. Thanks for having us. Mike's bag being found. That Hatebreed crew shirt is like not replaceable.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody was wearing it, I would know it was Mike's, and they'd be a dead man.
True.
You know.
True.
So that would be good. Bayway is next. Oh my god.
Sopranos intro.
Come on. Bayway motherfucker, to be precise.
Yeah.
This is an insane back-to-back here, Holy Blade and Bayway. Which this is what FYA is all about. This was like unbelievable. This was like a crazy breakout set for them. I was talking to Jay, is that his name?
Yep.
Yeah.
In the back, and he was like so thankful and so fired up about this set. So tell me about putting them on. This was their time. This was awesome.
They are pretty much like the flag bearer Jersey band right now. Like every time, like, there was like 600 kids last time they played Jersey and headlined. They just been like really dominating the Northeast like last year, and then I just, you know, again, like I try to put on, you know, bands from the Northeast if I notice them like doing like cool shit, and then I was just like, all right, this is another thing where they can like control this kind of audience in this kind of room. I was like, I want to see him in front of like a room with like, you know, thousands of kids, because I feel like it would be such a cool ass fucking thing. And then he commands a crowd like that in a way that not a lot of people can. And then his energy is awesome. I mean, yeah, he literally is. And like, he puts a lot of thought into you know, everything behind the band and everything. It's like his brainchild. And he's really student of all, you know, Second to None, like Shadow Realm, all the Jersey shit. And yeah, it was really like memorable FYA set to me. And I feel like, yeah, because like they really haven't played out that much besides like a random California thing, a random Texas thing. So I feel like it was the first time a lot of kids got to see them and see how crazy the live show was.
And their heads worked great. Everything, they really just fucking rocked.
Did they have the foam swords?
The swords, yeah.
That was cool.
Joe H brought the props, and Mike Bulldoze was hitting people with the foam swords, and people were just, you know, having a good time.
Now, Scanlon, you see foam swords getting thrown out as a stage manager. Where does your mind go?
Yeah, as a person who's a stage manager who's seeing someone who confiscated drained pool toys at his own venue in Philadelphia start throwing foam swords into the crowd, I was like, this is some hypocritical shit. I'm just kidding, Joe. Please don't kill me. But yeah, it was. You know, I'm glad the swords. Everyone had fun. Jayway, like Bob said, is a smart man, and he probably thought of this and was like, "Oh, this would be funny as fuck. Let's just do it." And he did it.
Yeah.
And people liked it. I can't believe people were moshing to the Sopranos theme song.
It's probably never happened.
Finally.
Ever. Yeah, right. Finally.
Finally, yes. But yeah, it was a great set. And Jay is literally the most appreciative person of all time. So I'm glad he got that opportunity to play, and it was actually good for them. And yeah, it was great.
He said on stage he was 15 months sober.
Yep.
15 months clean. So shout out to Jay. Congrats. That was beautiful.
Fuck yeah.
Hearing 2,000 people pop for that.
Yeah. Dude, come on.
Gets me right here.
Yeah.
Collateral is up next. They had an unbelievable year. Crazy record. This was a natural fit for FYA. Are they from Florida?
Yeah, South Florida, yep.
Okay, so this is like a home state band, home FYA, big time, huge fest gig after their record comes out. How did this go? What did you think, Bob? Tell me about putting Collateral on.
That squad, Mikey that plays drums, he's been playing in bands and played FYA for fucking 8 or 9 years, I feel like, at this point. And then, they're always pumping out new good bands, and Collateral is probably my favorite out of all the bands the kids in that band have done so far. I love the record from last year, and
they played early last year, right?
Yeah, they probably played a couple spots early last year, and I mean they play so fast, and they're such a good fit between any bands that you can kind of put them anywhere and it'll do well. And the set was fucking sick. They opened with Never Had It by Madball, closed with Never Had It by Madball.
Amazing.
The energy when they play is just always so sick. He's a great front man. And I love that band. So I was glad to see them get the reaction they did.
Now, in terms of stage management, what were your thoughts now, Scanlon?
It was great. I'm glad that they had the reaction they did. It was, in my opinion, one of the better reactions that day, or of the fest. It was one of the best.
Yeah.
And I'm just glad that they caught on as well as they did. I straight up love that fucking band. That demo was one of my favorite releases in a long time. Love the 7-inch. I'm glad they're doing well.
We were talking to people outside for a while, and I feel like half the people we talked to were from Florida.
Yeah.
And South Florida specifically. So I love to see people from their state repping bands that are from there, the fest that is near where they live. Florida has always been a Florida first type state, which is my favorite thing to see.
Yeah, that's how it should be.
FYA is the representation of that, of putting bands on that put their home on, and that's beautiful.
And let me tell you, some of the younger fellas we were talking to from South Florida, we asked, it'll be out in episodes, so we're not going to spoil anything, but we asked their top 4 Mount Rushmore hardcore records. There was a whole band, 5 guys, not one answer I would disagree with. It was,
Kids are
they got
all right.
good taste.
And they
got great taste on
they
there.
were all teens. It was amazing. So
Incredible.
It's a great thing.
Burning Lord is up next. Another great LP from last year. This is Boston, Philly.
Just Boston.
Where else?
Boston.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wish
Beautiful.
Philly.
Oh, I think have I just seen Lennon play for them or something?
He filled
did
in
fill
for
in,
them
Okay.
last year, yep.
There you go. I keep thinking they're both, but I guess they're just Boston, which is beautiful. Triple B, incredible record, so I couldn't wait for this set. Tell me about putting Burning Lord on this year.
Yeah, just their whole vibe is just super sick to me. He's a great front man, and then he just looks effortlessly cool as shit when they play. I really like the early stuff, but the LP is definitely the best stuff they've done. And I was kind of I don't really like running bands back, but kind of put them on last year I was I love this band, I want people to see them. And then they put out the LP, and I was all right, well, I got to just fucking have them again because last year's good. The new record is unbelievable, so I need them to play in front of a bunch of people. Ozone, great bass player.
Dude, he's
the man.
He's one of the great on-stage personalities of our era, I think.
Yeah, the whole
even
band,
just standing there, I'm like, that's a cool fucking guy. Now, stage managing Burning Lord. How does that go, Scanlon?
So the day before, I did not eat at one point at all throughout the day, and a lot of my friends were calling me an idiot for that. So I made sure to at least take a lunch break this time. And during Burning Lord, I ate my tofu behind the drummer, and he looked over and was just laughing at me because I'm just sitting there while they're playing.
And he was only laughing because we're not sure that you eat at all.
Yeah.
So it's just confirmation to him mid-set that you're even human.
Yeah, this is a surprise.
Yeah, I pride myself on not taking breaks when I work this thing, which is stupid. But yeah, so I ate, and their set was awesome. They did a straight ahead cover, and it popped and it was the same exact cover that Steamroll did, which was hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
and it was
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I want to hear more single straight ahead songs in 2025. Just play the one.
Yeah.
Everybody, learn it. Crush Your Soul is next. Jay is back to front once again after putting out 2 incredible EPs.
In the shadows, life. When you live so fast and bright, the gospel.
Bob, tell me about putting Crush Your Soul on. I love that you did that.
Yeah, they hit Mike and Jay. Obviously I was just like, yo, if you aren't feeling this, I get it. If you don't do multiple sets, but if you're down, I feel like, because my original idea was really early on was I wanted Mindforce to to headline one day and Crush Your Soul to open the next. Just because
cool.
To me, I thought that would just be funny, but then obviously it didn't work out like that. But I was like, I don't want to kill the guy. So fucking the band is so fucking. I love the fucking records. When it was presented to me, Dom's like, yo, I'm playing bass in the band. I was like, do you know how to play bass? He's like, not really, but I'm buying one this week. I was like, okay. And he just looks so... I can't believe how cool he looks playing bass. It's just... Everything about the band is just awesome. And,
incredible lineup.
Yeah, the lineup of people in the band is just ridiculous, and I would watch them live every day if I could. And the reaction was just, insane.
Short and sweet. Scanlon, tell me about getting your soul crushed on stage, managing this.
My soul was crushed on stage for sure. I got to put Dom on blast. So, setting up, he's nowhere to be seen. Trying to find him. Finally find him. He's like, oh, I don't have a bass. And I was like, oh, all right. I'll try to find one for you. So the homie from Statement of Pride comes up with his bass, lets him borrow it. And I'm going to plug him in. He's like, oh, you don't have to plug me in. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, no, don't plug me in. I don't know how to play bass. And I was like, oh, so we waited 10 minutes for you to get a bass. Whatever. Fine. Sure. No problem. So he's looking cool as shit, just moshing around. I was like, all right, at least he looks cool. And then he smashes me with the fucking headstock. And I was like, all right, maybe I'm not that psyched on it. But hey, the set was sick. I love seeing Jay do his thing. And honestly, Ben from Recycled Earth, he plays guitar in that band. I'm so happy he's in a band that people are just sweating so hard right now. He deserves it. Ben's a great dude.
I'm not even sure I noticed that there was no bass.
Dude, I was just going to say, I got totally worked because I saw videos and shit, and I was like, man, he looks fucking awesome.
How is he doing both?
How's he doing it?
It was funny because Moline was trying to plug him back into the tuner, and he's just just stop. You don't need to do that. And she's like, what do you mean? And I was like, it's not on. It was really funny.
Moline, shout out my old friend Moline, taking pictures this weekend. Florida legend. Sanction is next. Good God.
This was, from what we heard, this was the most violent of the weekend.
Pit of the weekend.
Pit of the weekend.
Can
you confirm?
They literally had people moshing wall to wall, which I love. I love the craziness. However, there was what I would describe as the baby pool to the left of the stage, which was people kind of just moshing around in a little area, way not near the actual pit. And I was like, you gotta, come on, what are you doing? Just get your shit together, get in the real mosh pit. We can't be doing this weird Warped Tour baby
a real
pool
unsanctioned side pit.
That's why I was saying, Bob, next year the barricades.
Side barricates.
Force them in.
Because you're in or you're out. You know?
Yeah.
It was funny, but I was like, come on, man. What's just a Philly kid was in there, and I did try to ban him from Philly shows for a little bit for being in the for the JV pit. But it's fine.
The JV pit.
Yeah.
Tell me about putting Sanction on. They formally came back last year. So it's cool that they're doing more. Tell me about putting them on.
Yeah, I talked to Lumpy about it before. He's like, I just don't, not really feeling it, blah, blah, whatever. And then they played LDB, and I think that kind of made them be like, oh shit, people actually give a fuck. Because they're just a band that I feel like people actually somehow miss, which is bizarre to me, but when they went away, a bunch of bands in their like realm kind of came up, and like they're kind of like the OGs of like that kind of style. I feel like at this point.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, I think they played like 8 years ago or something like that. I think they opened the one FYA. So it'd been a long time. So yeah, their reaction was just like truly psychotic. It was fucking sick.
I think the like crop of metalcore bands that have come since they've like broken up are just kind of doing them worse. You know?
Yeah.
So the kids go back and hear Sanction and hear how sick it was and didn't get to see him, and things change. Scanlon stage managing the stage.
Yeah.
While your friends are playing and Sanction, seeing them come back. How does that go? How is stage managing Lumpy in general?
It's great. A way to compare it, like you always say that TUI killed melodic hardcore. Me and my friends say that Lumpy killed hardcore in general. And started this whole wave of metalcore shit. But I'm psyched to see Sanction whenever they play. They do that style so well. They're definitely the best of it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be biased. They destroy it. They put their time in touring, and it only sucks that Nick Herman, amazing drummer, but to not see Little D up there is very sad. But he's working on being a tattoo guy. So that's
my sweet D.
He's the best.
We did, Colin. I don't know how much we've talked about this, but Sanction and Harm's Way did the same exact European tour that Twitching Tongues and Harm's Way did.
Right.
And D was like my guy.
Which is so funny.
He's such
what
a little.
What did you guys talk about?
Nothing. One time I was just sitting next to him and we were just kind of whatever. I don't even know and he looked at my socks and he went, "I like your socks." That was it.
That's Little D. Yeah,
that's Little D. He's just such a sweetheart. I love that guy.
He's the best.
But as Scanlon said, Nick Herman, amazing drummer.
Amazing drummer.
So what can you do?
Yeah.
Torture is up next. What a year they've had. Now they're torturing moshers left and right worldwide. Tell me about putting torture on FYA, Bob.
Yeah, they played a small place in Philly. Like the first time they're coming through, and I put them at like 100 cap spot, and it was just like mayhem the whole time. And I was like, all right, this is another thing. Like they did this crazy at this whole spot. Like them at a fest full of people who know them and like want to go off will be crazy. The thing I hated when they're playing is the first person, I couldn't throw a football and like hit the person. I'm like, what do you at least pretend like you're going to be up front? Like just fucking get your ass up front.
Yeah, totally.
Like, come on, man, do something.
Well, when you are a lyricless entity that is designed, when you're designed for only violence,
and
you can't blame them for wanting to go deep in the trenches. And
dude, and who, even if they had lyrics, who are they going to sing to?
Yeah, the drummer sings. So I get it, but I was like, this is goddamn ridiculous, man. Get your asses at least a little bit up front because you're just like you're gonna like mosh like the bar in the very back of the room. Like, come on. But which would have been cool. But I also
the Beetlejuice meme. That's torture. Torture at FYA first song.
That was literally that was that meme in real life. But yeah, it was one of the most stressful sets of the weekend because I was like, people couldn't even pretend to like be like diving and stuff like that. It was purely ass whooping.
Yeah.
So I was like, somebody's gonna go and just do something that I'm just like, this is what the hell is gonna happen. But the set was violent and great, and it went off without a hitch. So it was cool seeing them in a big room like that.
Shout out to my pal Hunter, Bad Boy, playing bass again. Right. Playing bass in Torture, that was cool to see. Happy for him.
Yeah, they got Hunter and Jay rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Strong. Now Scanlon, now you're stage managing Torture. Where is your mind? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What do you got going on?
Yeah, I got a few bones to pick during this set. So yeah, I think like obviously during their set, everyone was so spread out, like it was fucked up. Like it looked like a Coco Lash video of Swear to God playing like a football, like a football field or something. You know what I mean? It's a classic beatdown scenario. But it's just like I feel like if everyone just like moved in a bit more, even though they were gonna get their ass kicked, it would have popped even better. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I just think people got to stop being scared, even though you're gonna get your ass kicked. But A thing that really grinds my gears is when the trend of like people going to stage dive, but they're just like punching down on the people in the front because it gets the people not want to be up front at all. It's the worst style of all time. Just stop.
Well,
It's
It
the
must-
corniest
it-
thing ever.
Hold on.
It must end.
Even worse is the pretending to do it.
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
well, that's what most of them are doing.
If you're gonna
too.
do it, do it. But
Yeah.
yeah, just doing the like,
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not
Yeah.
cute,
It is-
it's not cool, it's not funny, it's whack.
I can only describe it as fugly.
Yeah.
You know? There's no better way. It's a fugly style. It must end.
Yeah.
Like, just, I don't know. You're not attacking anyone, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, what
Yeah.
They're
yeah.
just going, if they're even there to begin with. No
Yeah.
more.
Wait. Final bone to pick because I said I was going to tell this story before with the water bottle throwing. So during the last Torture song, I just see water bottles being flung from the stage.
Right.
And as a stage manager protecting Bob, I'm like, I got to speak for Bob. So I go over there
Protecting
and I see
water
it's Lumpy.
too.
And I just look at Lumpy with the meanest, like, I'm just like, and he's just like, what? I'm sorry. And I'm just like, yeah, just stop. And then I look over and Brendan from Big Boy is literally running to the water case to get water. He like turns back around and I'm just staring at him like blank in his face. And he just goes like, I'm sorry. And I'm just like, stop. And yeah, it was pretty funny. But dude, the water is just like, the floor is not carpeted anymore. It used to be carpeted. It's not carpeted anymore. So when the water is on the ground, people are just going to slip. For whatever reason, the venue doesn't have like a fucking janitor ready to go with a mop. So it like takes a while to clean it up. So
Right.
just don't throw water. That's it.
I can tell you what a disaster firsthand water on the floor of the pit can be. That's all it takes to ruin a show.
Well, dude, and what's funny too is like Scanlon said, for Statement of Pride, I for the cover, I was in the pit a little bit. That's the first band of the day, and I slipped because it was like dusty. So you're working with wet and dusty at the same time. That's a
Terrible
recipe,
combo.
A recipe
Yeah,
for
yeah.
disaster.
Terrible combo. You would think they couldn't coexist, wet and dusty.
And yet, they sludge.
But some old bands prove otherwise.
They sludge it up.
We got Balmora up next. They opened last year.
Yeah.
They're at 5 p.m. this year. They get the promotion. I knew that would happen,
Yeah.
Bob. Good on you for doing that.
Was that intentional, Bob?
Yeah, I mean, they just last year I was just like, all right, this will bring kids there earlier, and I'm like, all right, any earlier would be just like disrespectful for
Totally.
you know what they've become in like the last year or so. So yeah, I just wanted to give them a little, put them a little higher and see what
Love
happens.
that. Love it.
Totally. And I would like to note, like, the first half of the day is kind of like you're being introduced to some things you may have never heard. You're seeing a couple new and notable, exciting bands.
Yeah.
And then the second half is just like bang, bam, 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 banger after banger after banger after banger. Both of these days. Balmora and on, and I'm really fucking Sanction and on, I feel like is where it's like you can expect madness the rest of the day. This was crazy. They smoked last year to me.
Mhm.
Tell me anything else you can about putting them on, how good this was, and then of course I need to hear from Scanlon.
I mean, they're absolutely the first and probably only band that's covered On Broken Wings and Breakdown in the same set.
100%.
That was history right in front of our eyes there.
And listen,
but yeah, it was crazy.
I'm all for it. I'm all
Yeah.
for that. You could play anything else and play Breakdown, and I'm fine.
And Senti is definitely also the first person to own an Avenged Sevenfold hoodie and know what Breakdown is.
Yeah.
So, couple
Dude,
world records.
I
really.
listen to Breakdowns all the time. What are you talking about?
Exactly. Now, Scanlon, you're stage managing Balmora.
Yeah.
What's going through your mind? What's going on?
Well, I was privy to the Unbroken Wings breakdown conversation because at first it was either going to be one or the other, and then they were supposed to cover jail depression, but one of them was like, I don't know if I want to do it, whatever. So, but then I guess last minute, like 30 minutes before the set, they were like, all right, no, covering breakdown would be funny, but let's do sick people. I was like, okay, sure, whatever. I had
Much
no
easier.
idea.
Yeah.
I had no idea how it was going to go, but to see people go crazy for Unbroken Wings and then people actually kind of go crazy for the breakdown cover. I was like, all right, that's Unity.
Yeah, it really is.
One scene Unity. Yeah.
CTHC, man. It is a symbol of Unity. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But hey, it's not only the covers, the Balmora originals, they went over great.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great set.
Well
Great
said.
set.
20 minutes, and I know they got some long songs, so they're having to pick the right ones. You know, they did a good job.
Yeah. They went over their time, but that's fine. That's fine.
Were they the first?
That day, yes. Well, so the day kind of got jumbled up between Torture and Balmora just because Torture had the headset. You had so they needed 3 DI boxes, but we made it back on time. It's fine. It's okay.
It's a lot. It's a lot of boxes.
A lot of boxes.
Think I Care is next. One of the best hardcore bands of the 2000s, period. I love looking at a lineup and seeing Think I Care on it.
Yeah.
I love the lineup now. I feel like they've never sounded this tight, which is fucking awesome. Tell me about getting Think I Care on this, for one. Your relation and you as a fan to the band. Because, man, like, this just feels so good.
Well, it also, I have to imagine, Bob, that you were, back in the day, a huge Think I Care fan.
Oh, I mean, dude, there's pictures of me from like 2003 or 4 with like multiple Think I Care shirts. Like,
yeah,
I got the CD originally because I got them confused with Stop and Think because I saw them in a thanks list, and I was like, this is not what I thought this band sounded like at all. But like, the self-titled and Mongrel, like specifically, like are just all-timers great hardcore records to me.
Yeah,
and just like the angriest, like their sets were super crazy, like not super crazy, but they're always like exactly the one out of a hardcore set, like. The Positive Numbers 04 set was like one of the most memorable things I've seen. And especially with Austin being in the band, I think it's a little easier for them to figure things out because he kind of can like handle everything and shit. But yeah, and then so with me and Sam re-releasing the 2 records, I was like, oh, well, now it makes sense. Like I feel like now more kids know them than when I've tried them in the past and it didn't work out. But yeah, the set was fucking awesome. Clegg looked insane.
Yeah.
They had the fucking mohawk with the nail bomb shirt was a crazy combo. But yeah, it was awesome. It was a real like knowers know kind of pit in like a positive way, and like they had pylons and shit. And it was just something that's like obviously again, I'm not gonna like be like, yo, Striking Distance headline my fest. You know what I mean? Like, but like there's bands that I'm like, yo, this is like to me an essential hardcore band. And if it's not, you can go back and like look at bands like 2006, whatever other eras, like, but like this is the band you should know, and they're moshy. You can sing along. I love the band, so I was glad to see them get the reaction they did.
Beautiful,
love it. I agree. Austin playing the Taylor Young Dunnable as well, so that's pretty cool. Scanlon,
it was a band.
Mr. Manager.
It was a band that I wish I could have hit the pit for, and I regretted not doing so. They're one of the best, like Bob said, and I absolutely love them. But they killed it. I'm glad that they held their own. It was great.
They were really like the angry, kind of scary, but not heavy in the sense of like breakdown heavy of like
piece by piece of
our era. Yeah, of like when we were growing up, it was. Think I Care, and then, dude, for me too, like So Be It afterwards, like, man, Think I Care really was in a sweet spot that I really love. So it was really cool to see them back in general.
Totally agree. Yeah. The Mongoloids are back. Something I thought I would never say. Something I thought I would never be allowed to say. Greg has been Greg from Hold My Own for so many years to so many people, but he'll always be Greg Mongo to me, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm sure to you guys as well.
Yeah.
One of my favorite guys ever.
Great guy.
So I love seeing him get this moment, this later day FYA moment. And what the hell? My fireworks are going off. This was one of the best sets of the weekend.
That's also, we heard Pit of the Weekend Sanction. Set of the weekend, Mongoloids.
I had no idea what to expect.
Yeah,
and this is like the original lineup.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
these are the first Mongoloids.
Yep,
are all playing now.
Yeah,
and like they sounded unbelievable.
Better than they ever sounded somehow.
Yeah. It's crazy. And the pit was insane. People are singing everything.
Greg in the varsity jacket.
Oh yeah.
Straight edge band, kinda. We'll give them one. We'll give them a mark.
We'll
for
do
that,
it. We'll
right?
do a half.
Give it a half. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll give them a half. They were once upon a time.
Have we missed any, by the way, before this?
I don't think so.
No.
Okay. 7.5 strong.
Yeah, love it. Tell me about putting the Mongoloids on, first and foremost, Bob.
They just, like, I've been really good friends with Greg for a while now. And just, the first Mom tour was with the Mongoloids. And then we were always, they would come play Dual Sound all the time. Everybody was friends, whatever. And then, it was something that was just like, it's going to happen at some point. And I was just like, yo, like, if you can make this happen, I'm down to do it. And it was definitely, like you said, on stage, it's like a real, like, hell freezes over Eagles reunion kind of thing. Like, the fact that they were able to get together and have all the original guys is, like, insane. Like, I don't know if people realize how insane it is.
Yeah.
So it was
They weren't in that B9 thread with us reading all the stories that the members were sharing. But so I'm glad it's all water under the bridge. What an unbelievable saga it was. I'm glad it has a happy ending.
Yeah. Wait, what was with the spinning, the magic show?
Dude, that's what I was about to say. So A couple things from the set. That dude at some point security like poked me. He's like, yo, this guy says he's with a band and he needs a wristband. And I look back and it's just that dude just sitting on a chair to the side of the stage. I was like, who the fuck is that? And he's like, what band? And he's like, oh, he said he's with the Mongoloids. So I texted Greg. I thought it was like somebody's uncle or something like that just like showed up to the fest or something. And he didn't respond. And I hit up Dave from the band. He's like, oh no, he's with us. Like, whatever. I was like, whatever. I was like, this has to be like a weird family member or something like that. I had no idea what the fuck was going to happen. And then it was just literally like a circus when they were playing. It was one of the most bizarre, entertaining things I've ever seen in my life. I was just cracking up the whole fucking time. Yeah, just doing many tricks.
But was it not exactly what you should expect from the Mongoloids?
I mean,
I saw him.
It was literally perfect.
He spun an LP and threw it out. I saw him spin like maybe a 17 or 18-inch like video monitor.
Yeah.
Spinning on his finger.
A chair.
A chair.
How do you figure that out?
I don't know. They found him on Craigslist. That's the deal. Like, I don't understand the specifics, but they found him on Orlando Craigslist. Somebody told me he did stuff with them before, and he shaved somebody's head on stage, or he cut somebody's hair on stage. So I thought that's what the chair was for. And I was like, dude, nobody's cleaning up a bunch of fucking hair after this set. Like, I pray that's not what it is.
Yeah, Scanlon is not cleaning up a bunch of hair.
So I was glad he just did the weird tricks. The thing that sucked during the set, I was so happy. I love Greg to death. It was awesome. His kids got to see the set. Like, his fucking wife was there. Everything was great. Some kid sprinted across the stage and was like, I don't know what his plan was, to parkour off the speakers or to like just jump over somebody on the other side, whatever. But I'm fucking sitting there. Obviously everybody was like, yo, like, yeah, the guy in the backpack, he has the backpack on, whatever. The backpack saved my life because this fucking kid he's running at me full speed like the fucking Terminator. I'm looking around. I was like, he's not going to move. So at the last second, I was just like trying to shift his momentum to get him off the stage to protect the speaker and whoever's over there. Protected the speaker. But in the process, I lost my footing, fell fucking 6 feet off the goddamn stage, right onto my back, saved by the backpack because I had a box of shit in there, and my back hurt all weekend. My back hurt all weekend. After that, I felt great. It literally it realigned my spine or something like that. But yeah, saved by the backpack. I almost got knocked out of my own fest twice in one weekend. Thankfully, I didn't.
Holy shit.
But yeah, if you're that kid, please don't do that. Like, what
that's crazy. It's too bad you had to throw out all those Dr. Peppers in your backpack that were shaken out.
They were exploded.
Yeah.
That's devastating.
Just covered in,
Wow. So don't do that. Whatever that was.
Yeah,
that was not, I didn't know.
Fucking Monty Python Mongoloids.
Holy shit, man.
Tell me about stage managing the Mongoloids, Scanlon.
I'm really upset I missed Bob falling. I would pay so much money to
maybe Sonny
see that in real time.
If Sonny got it, that'd be really great.
Oh, there's a video. And there's two people down there that just watch it happen. I'm like, you can't throw one hand up. I'm like, come on, man. But it is what it is. People,
can you send me the video?
Yeah, we're gonna need that video, Bob. Okay, good.
Yeah, you gotta show it right here. Yeah,
here it is. Yeah. That looks crazy.
That was beautiful.
So I was also confused by the spinner guy because there was just a chair in the front of the stage, and I was like, I don't know if like someone's family member is gonna sit there or whatever. So yeah, the dude starts spinning shit, but I'm gullible as fuck, and I just see this dude in the front whip out a huge like frying pan. He's like, do this, and I was like,
oh yeah,
where the fuck did someone get a frying pan from? And then he starts spinning the frying pan. I was like, oh, it's part of the show.
Inside job.
Yeah, inside job. But
Greg asked for 2 wristbands for a magician and his assistant.
Yeah, there's 2 assistants. There were 2 people
2?
helping him. Yes.
This guy's getting greedy.
That's as much as HardLore.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is incredible. Congrats to the Mongoloids. Welcome back. Kids Like Us is next. Florida legends here, really.
Yeah, right.
The kings of Florida, if you really think about it. This is another one where I had no idea what to expect. I figured it's in their hometown, so it's going to be insane. And it is. The hits are absolutely hitting. Tell me about putting Kids Like Us on, Bob.
Yeah, I mean, like over the years, obviously, Florida hasn't had a lot of bands that, were able to like kind of break out of Florida scene and everything like that. But they're always touring, doing other shit. You'd be on tour in like fucking Topeka, Kansas, and the opener would cover a Kids Like Us song or something like that. Like,
right.
So like they definitely had like a crazy reach, and it just made sense with me because I'd asked a couple years ago, it didn't work out, and I was like, well, this year I feel like it makes sense with you guys and Mongoloids, whatever, if you can make it work. And they were down, and then
forever back to back.
Yeah, straight up.
Yeah.
It just the fact that it worked out with the 20-year of the one Out of Control that they played and everything. But yeah, I mean, they hadn't played since 2016, I think, whenever the Judge show was down there. So yeah, it was they got an insane reaction. They're probably one of the top 5 most popular Florida bands ever. And yeah, it was basically, to me, it's like a Down to Nothing playing in Richmond or something like that. Like same vibe, like just fun, and like people just going off and diving the whole time.
Good comparison.
I would love to see how many of them Coca-Cola shirts they sold.
Billions.
In, like lifetime sales, that's got to be in the hundreds of millions at this point. Tell me about stage managing Kids Like Us, Scanlon.
It was great. I definitely heard that band when I was like in high school, and I was never got to see them. So it was kind of cool to see them, and especially in Florida. And I wasn't sure how it was going to be. I was like coming after Mongoloids. I was like, oh, it might be a little tough, but that set was actually pretty fucking crazy.
It was buck.
Yeah, they did good. They did good.
Great job, Kids Like Us. Again, welcome back. Another welcome back is owed to Tampa's own and South Florida's own Blistered is back. Evan, one of my favorite guys ever. This fucking rocked. This Blistered is a band that like got their flowers right when they went away.
Yeah. They were a straight edge band, right?
They were.
No.
Equal Strike, yes. Blistered, no.
Okay, got it.
I think straight edge is done for this. So what were we at total? 7.5?
7.5 with the Mongoloids. With Greg.
It's not.
Greg holding down
as good as
all of New Jersey.
We can do better.
We can do better.
Let's make it to a whole 8 next year. But Blistered is next. This is like the hometown set that I feel like they've always deserved. Tell me about making that happen, Bob. And just having Blistered come back.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of went out on a weird note because people were just confused about like the last show and everything like that. If it was going to be the last show or not, or they're going to continue on. And enough time passed where I was just like, I think we're ready to actually, put it to bed or, whatever, actually like do it like the right way. And I mean, like you said, I love Evan. He's always been the man. He's a secret, insanely important parts of the fest. He's always helping out with fucking gear, just like figuring things out, whatever. And just, he's a really good friend. And then,
just the best guy.
Yeah. He's just, I don't know a single person that dislikes him. And, I know it took a lot for Lennon to want to do it and everything like that. With just, he's a head case sometimes. So I get it, but, him being able to do it was fucking sick. And the reaction, I was so worried with the 3 Florida reunions back to back to back.
Right.
I was like, I pray that somebody doesn't get fucked in this situation.
I like that the Mongoloids are, in your mind, a Florida reunion.
They count. Greg put in his time in Jacksonville and other shit.
That's true. That's true.
They're basically Florida. But
so did Lennon have most sets this weekend?
He might have. He had
Face the Pain.
He had that.
Scarab?
Yeah, maybe 3, yeah.
Blistered. Yeah.
So probably 3, yeah.
Three is
a
no
lot.
joke, man. They had that.
But
So good job, Lennon. Good job,
yeah,
Blistered.
they were fucking great. I don't know how much more or if anything they're going to do, but if that's the last show, I think that's the appropriate one. And I love all the guys, so I was glad I was able to have one like that.
Absolutely. Scanlon.
Lennon was very nervous before the set, and I'm glad that he was fine. He didn't fuck up the words at all. It was great. Great. I was worried for him for a second. It was good. It was good.
No anecdotes of any technical disasters or
struggles.
No, just I'm gonna back up what Bob said, saying that Evan is the man and he provided the back line, so he made my life easier.
See,
So,
I didn't even know that. He's the best.
He's the best.
Love him. Terror, the greatest hardcore band ever, is up next.
We had a great way of starting Terror, of arriving at Terror.
That's true. We did a little interview with Jamie from Death Threat.
Nice.
And I'm supposed to sing Spit My Rage, which is always like first or second. And I hear like faint rumbling. We were walking Jamie back to his wife. And I'm like, who's playing right now? And his wife is like, oh, it's Terror. So I sprint inside. And you know those like speaker thing? There's some kind of cases that were next to
Cable cases, yeah.
Cable cases right next to the stage. One is like kind of far from the stage. So I jump on it and like ride it to the stage. And arrive the second the part starts. So you'll notice I'm like a half second late and then make it. But yeah, this set was unbelievable. They played fucking Not This Time.
Yeah, dude, that was fucking awesome.
Holy shit.
I don't think I've ever seen them play that. Ever.
No, I definitely have, but not in like years. And Martine said it was like a day of Audible.
That's crazy.
So awesome. Loved it. This set was unbelievable. They're the best hardcore band ever, as I've said many times, and I will continue to say. Bob, tell me about putting Terror back on. This is if you're gonna have any band, this is the ultimate like direct support band in history.
Yeah, I mean, they can crush anytime they play, and then Vogel, I mean, can make any crowd fucking psyched on the set. And obviously at that point, people are tired, like, whatever, don't really want to go off too hard, but like he literally willed it to happen, and the sing-alongs were great, the moshing was plentiful. Yeah, they're just the fucking best. Like they specifically in like the last couple of years, like their set at Tied Down, I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like I'm glad, not that they ever went away, but I mean, again, same thing with Death Threat. Like they've been in bands for 2002, I think. So being around this long and still being so relevant, and I mean, the last record they did is probably my favorite since Lois as well.
Top 3 that they've ever written.
And like doing that far in your career is just fucking psychotic. And all those dudes obviously are still super involved in hardcore and truly give a shit. And the set was fucking great, and I would have them every year. If you know what I mean? They're just the best band. You know what I mean?
They're the best.
If you had them every year, I would look at the flyer and go, fuck, that's awesome, Terror's playing. Tell me about stage managing at this point, Scanlon. You're almost done. You got 2 more to get through.
Home stretch.
But the home stretch is Terror and Nails. So this is like vacation mode now. You get to have a good time.
Yeah, I mean, during Terror, I was feeling it. I remember something like got fucked up, and I just looked at Mark, and I was just like, yeah, just go get it. Like I don't want to
the
do
monitor,
it anymore.
the monitor guy. I saw him take care of it. It was good.
I was over it. But no, I mean, their set was sick. Scott laughed because when he got on stage, I was walking up with tape, and he's like, "What's that for?" And I was like, "Oh, you like to get your microphone taped?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, you really booked us way too many times." I was like, "Yeah." So then taped up his microphone, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to do it. I mean, you would not believe I think at every FYA I've ever played, my microphone XLR has gotten ripped out of my microphone. So
last year,
this guy's on to something.
Last year it was the first.
It was
second.
Fucking sucked. But yeah, this set was unbelievable. Set list was amazing. Terror, if you're listening, you're the best. Not This Time. Keep it in there.
Keep it in.
What a pit. God, incredible. Nails is next, and Nails is last. The return of Nails happened last year. This is their first show in Florida since, right?
I think so. Yeah, I don't think they've really done like that much yet.
Opening with Wide Open Wound.
Dude, we were
Oh my God.
We were backstage right when they started playing, and it was like I heard the riff, and whoever I was talking to just we vanished. We just had to go watch. It was just like, we got to go.
Insane. Yeah, this was like wide open pit of people beating ass for 45 straight minutes. So heavy the PA shut off at one point.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, this was an amazing way to close the weekend. Nails still got it. Put out a great record last year. Tell me about putting Nails on, cementing them as the headliner for the whole thing this year.
I think they only played year one, which was in the back booth, which is a 300 cap venue. So it was just kind of crazy 11 years later, or 11 fests later, like having them come back and like close it all out. And
what was the name of that other venue? Like the chain
the
of strength?
highlight court?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Like is that the
Cuban
chain
Club.
of strength year?
Cuban Club.
The Cuban
Club was
Club.
Tampa, yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to remember that. That was early on too. So they played an even small. Wow, holy shit!
Yeah, they played year one. It was like them, Blacklisted, Mongos, like things like that.
Unreal.
But yeah, the last record they put out is fucking psychotic, and it's like just as good, if not better, than anything they've ever done. And it's super heavy. And like headliners are fucking hard. You know what I mean? You want to like do something different that's not the same shit and everything, and try to switch it up. And I was like, if the band that people are gonna stick around for and like actually still be psyched for, it's definitely Nails. And I think they fucking crushed it. And then people were just whooping ass. After 38 fucking bands.
Yeah,
Odd sounded unbelievable. They
sounded perfect.
Like the set list was fucking great. Tyler Mullen doing pretty much the whole last song with them. Like that was like greatest combo ever.
And I love Fest Todd being there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's my favorite thing.
Yeah. He's
kicking back. He's relaxing. He's talking about HC for 2 days straight. It's the best.
That dude loves hardcore. I haven't seen him in, I don't know, probably 8 years or something like that. So it was, I just, anytime I see him, I really love talking to him and hanging out with him. And yeah, I was psyched they made it work, because they're not like, they don't really do a lot of like that world, I guess, shit anymore. But like they were super down, and it was fucking great. So I was glad to have them cap everything off.
They had John Edwards doing sound, who also did it for us and a few other bands, and he's the man. Shout out to him.
He is a fucking legend, dude. That was the first time I really met him. He's fucking great.
He rules,
he did great.
And he's so talented and good at his job.
He did great.
Nails sounded fantastic, and they saved the day when the whole stage sound shut down, so that was cool. Scanlon, when something like that happens, how does that feel?
I didn't even know what happened because the monitors were still working.
Right.
So someone just looked at me and was just like, and I was like, what? And I like went, I was like, oh, okay, the PA is off. But luckily it was during the drum solo. So it's just like, just the drums going.
So
fine.
I thought they did a drum solo because the PA shut off.
No,
I was
show.
back at merch, so I could hear it, but I didn't see what was going on. Interesting.
Yeah. So, I'm glad I got turned on before the next song. And then, with the Tyler Mullen thing, it was funny because he was just doing the John Glue part, like the classic John Glue, just, yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah.
But it was funny because Todd liked that he was doing it, and like he stopped for a second. And Todd was looking at Tyler just going like mouthing him to scream it. It was so funny. It was sick to see Nails play a hardcore show and fest, because obviously it's been a minute since they did that, and I do generally think that they enjoyed it, which is nice. And Todd's the man.
And that's what it's all about. Todd is the man. He loves hardcore more than anybody in the world. He knows more about hardcore more than anybody in the world. Yeah. So it's only suiting that he ended this day. Nails, one of the greats. I know these drum parts so intimately, like you wouldn't believe, still to this day. They're ingrained in my DNA. Love this band. And that's FYA.
Yeah.
And then we saw each other at Universal the next day, Scanlon.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Beautiful. What do you do, Bob, when FYA is over?
We actually, Bob, we saw you like get into your car to leave. We were pulling up behind you to load out that trailer.
Squeezing in there with that goddamn backpack.
Big old backpack.
I don't know how you got in. Yeah, what's the first thing you do after something like FYA? After the thing you spent a year putting together, what do you do?
Breathe in a huge sigh of relief that it happened. Go get food because I ate like some grapes at like 8:30 in the morning and I didn't eat anything after that, so I was pretty fucking hungry.
It's like what
so
a
we
deer.
went
What'd
to
you
Waffle
get?
House. Oh, we went to Waffle House. Met
Beautiful.
up with some Pensacola kids, saw the legend Ben Russin and his girl there. So that was a treat in itself.
So
Ben and Susie, yeah, I saw them earlier.
Yes.
That was great.
So yeah, I just did that, and then I used to try to do shit on Monday, like the day afterwards. Like I think we went to Disney the one year, and it was a year that I was insanely sick, and I should have been in the hospital. And we were there for like 9 hours, and I walked like 20 miles, and I was just falling asleep on benches because I was fucking sick out of my mind. So I'll never do that again. So it's just a lot of chilling, getting some food, fucking relaxing. Just
what's the injury report looking like this year?
For the attendees or myself?
Attendees. We heard about some broken limbs.
There's a Philly kid that hurt his shoulder, I guess. This is all alleged because they are being cool about everything. He hurt his shoulder.
Yeah.
I heard there's some noses that weren't too great. Some kid messaged missing link with a hilarious thing. Yeah, you're fine.
We met a guy who may have broken his collarbone. Probably not, but maybe.
He's fine.
Couple legs, maybe? Leg and ankle?
I heard a leg,
walk
ankle.
it off. You break your collarbone, walk it off. You're fucking good. It's fine.
100%.
Yeah.
We had like actual medics this year, so I think maybe that helped. We had a whole setup for that.
Huge.
Very cool.
So, as far as I know, no major.
So nothing major. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. Hey, if you hurt yourself at a show, you say you fell skateboarding. If you try to sue a venue or promoter or a band, fuck yourself.
Yes.
That's me.
That's a main one's a venue right there.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scanlon. Thank you, Bob. Oh, we went to Universal the next day. We saw Scanlon there.
Yeah.
I just want to say the first thing we saw at Universal when we walked in that I've been like crying, laughing about every 15 minutes since was a little kid running up to...
Probably like 10.
So like old enough.
Enough, exactly. That's why it's important.
He's running up excitedly, pointing to his mom, trying to get her attention, to show her. He's going, Mama! Mama! Bo Bartman!
And
Bo Bartman.
And we look.
Pointing, and we look, and it's Homer Simpson.
Bo Bartman.
Later that evening, we went to the crazy fucking McDonald's that has all the gimmicks, the pasta
Italian food and shit.
Yeah, all that shit.
Don't ever go there.
Don't go there. I didn't even I spent $50 and didn't even get food. I got a refund. And when Colin recited Bo Bartman, I laughed harder than I have in months.
Bo Bartman.
Bo Bartman. Mac changed the contact for me in his phone to Bo Bartman. It was he was so excited and so decisively wrong about what he was talking about.
I gotta tell my mom Bo Bartman is here. This is unreal.
Homer Simpson.
Mac and I spent the entire flight home just laughing, saying Bo Bartman. So that was the best part of FYA this year to me.
I did watch all 37 Simpsons seasons earlier this year.
What do you
How
think?
was that?
Earlier
it was
last
good
year.
until about season 10, and then there would be specific parts of specific seasons that I'll laugh like maybe once. It was a brutal thing to get through.
Bob,
dude, let me tell you what.
Hold on, you're saying you stuck it out for 27 more seasons after that?
Yeah, just waiting for it to get good again. It does.
It is
not. The voices get scarier. It's a fucking thing, man.
Well, let me tell you what. The opposite of that. I stopped watching Family Guy maybe season 4. It was on all day and night at our hotel.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's so good. Still, I'm watching brand new episodes, tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
I can't sleep the night before the show because Family Guy is so good. So remember that next time you try to tear down Peter Griffin and uplift Bo Bartman, okay? Who's been better longer, Bo Bartman or Peter Griffin, okay?
Bo Bartman.
Bo Bartman. All right, that's HardLore. Thanks for watching.
God.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Scanlon.
Thank you,
we'll
guys.
see you so
well
soon.
done. Good work.
Bye.
Anytime.
Bye.
Bye.